We are good to go. All right, let's see. This not this January 8th link. You need to find today's link. Copy. January 9th. All right. Check the stream. Looking good. Live on Tradecaster, live on YouTube. I'm going to set up my levels this morning. Just looking at it quick, overnight inventory is pretty short from the highs. Yesterday, I mean, that trade that I took obviously was a good shot at it. I was short from here, looking at the divergence in volume and price. I had to run to work, so I kind of just cut it quick. But realistically, that's 666 level. We broke above it, broke the high. I would have been stopped out anyway, so it was a good break-even trade. And then that actual short that I probably would have took and then took profit on was the next breakdown, which was fine. You know, we were a little early, but you know the analysis was there. We based out pretty much the rest of the morning till like 11 o'clock Central Time, lunch hour, and then we continued to just push up all day. So we closed pretty much on the highs yesterday, right here. That's our close at the highs. Now sitting at the inventory overnight, we're just flat at these highs and then just started to fade off, starting right around that midnight hour Central Time. Get close to that European Open, that Asian Open, and then you just get that rollover, right? A lot of times what I see when I look at this is that the overnight inventory likes to rotate back to clear out the highs, but since we were so strong yesterday with just persistent buying, I don't know if we will not roll back over and kind of clean up some of that as well. So today was the first day back to school for my kid, so I'm gonna guess it's the first day back to school for a lot of kids. So today we might see a little more volume out there, and we're gonna go from there. So I'm gonna kind of just be a little quiet for a minute. We're gonna wait. I didn't see any news, nothing. I'm gonna go over to my chart here. You can see on this screen. Let's see. I don't like when YouTube does that. There we go. You can see over here, we did flush my purple zone here yesterday pre-market. Then we came in, we entered in. My line in the sand, right, was that 16,560 level. We crushed that. We blew right through it. Pretty good volume. That first opening 30-minute candle, then we rolled up and up and up and up. Rolling over now, we came into this zone here, 760, and the other key level that I have is this 692 level. That's a swing high from July, I believe it was. So we're kind of holding below there. If we reclaim above and then start to climb back up, that 760 level could be in play. Then possibly looking for a short down through here, unless we do break above and hold, retest, and run, right? So if we're here, if we can break above here and then climb, that's a good long position. Realistically, up here, I'm looking for a rejection and a breakdown below. Then this is that key line in the sand there, right? If we break this back down, I'm going to look for an acceptance back to where we came from yesterday, at least into that 560 area. If we do the opposite, let's see, this is all mess now. I could figure that out later, but there we go. If we do run up and we come through here, base out and come back up, our next level is at 880 level. Because we'll be clearing out yesterday's highs. You would think that we're going to continue to get some pressure in here to carry us up. And obviously you can see I have levels all the way above here. If we go over to the 30-minute, over here, I want to see if I'm on it. We're in the NASDAQ, yeah. So in the 30. We are middle of the range. I'm gonna reload this data, clean this up a bit. We respected that 720 level on the way back down. We could push back up to 720 to continue back down on the rollover. We'll see what happens. We just opened up, so I'm not really a first minute of the day trader, so I like to let it settle a bit and then go. So we're gonna see from there. Right now, we opened on the lows for the most part. We got 657 as that very low of the day overnight session. Our initial range currently with one contract is a $400 risk, 450. The bottom of the opening range, what we consider the opening range, is the first minute candle. How it's been described is if things needed to get done on the electronic world, they're going to get done in the first 1 minute. So that's where a lot of things are going to happen. And then direction will get picked from there. So the opening range is sort of reasonable at the moment. It's not too big. It's about 98 ticks, 100 ticks. Not something I really want to take that much risk on. My normal risk is anywhere between 30 and 50 ticks. So if I do take any sort of trade, it will be alerted. Good morning to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I'm going to give you the link to my TradeCaster, and you could go over there and take a look to see if you like my stream. It is going to be free, so don't be scared off by the paid version. You could get a free trial. My stream is going to be free. I'm going to be going live there starting officially January 22nd. So today is day 2 of my test week over there on TradeCaster. As long as everything is still going well, and I'm going to try and bug things out technology-wise and layout-wise and get some comments and feedback on how people would like the stream setup to be. Then I can make some adjustments before the 22nd. Looking over here on the charts, still on the 30, aren't I? Yep. I'm going to go over the main screen. Okay. So looking over here on the charts, since I wasn't on this, I am looking, give me a minute, 1 second, just seeing if the sound is on yet. Okay. What I was talking about was the initial opening range, right? That is this red and blue line. That's the first minute of trading today, right? So we opened up, we pushed up, and then we closed in the middle of that range there. Currently, we've broken above that opening range. We're still below VWAP for the overnight. Usually, if we're below VWAP, you're looking to short below VWAP, long above VWAP as a general rule of thumb. I'm sitting in the middle of a range, so I don't really have anything that's pressing at the moment. Let's get rid of that. If you see that line that I have at that 692 was that swing high level, right? So we have to sort of hold above there for any sort of long conviction for this to sort of play out there. Let's see. I keep drawing on this chart. I'm not used to having the drawing tool up. I don't like it. There we go. This is a 30-minute chart. We're in the middle of yesterday's value area. We're sitting above the point of control from yesterday. The overnight point of control is at the very low of the day. Like I said, a lot of times you're looking for a recovery back to the highs and then see what happens, clean out some of that inventory. Normally I'm not a Starbucks guy, but I had to stop on my way home. S&P, same deal, opened on the lows. This 30-minute bar, this first opening bar, is still pushing up a bit. We got some buying pressure off that 772 level right yesterday. I gotta reload that one also. Yesterday we did push up right through that 72, and then we kind of took off from here. So this was definitely a key price level. I mean, especially on the 30-minute, you got a big bar, and then you kind of got that big continuation through before it kind of just continued to buy up all over the afternoon session, right? So this is a level that's important. I don't like to use VWAP as an entry criteria. So my VWAP is more of a target for me as far as fading extremes. It was a good short there. If you did take that, could look at that there. You can see this, the chop from yesterday. Delete this. I don't like to have old drawings. If I were to draw this up for today, right, you're looking at a key level here and then a key breakout level here. And then you have a little bit of a zone that I would think would play into, especially with the overnight session yesterday, last night I should say. This is just how I go through my thought processes, right? I always look left. I always check to see what kind of liquidity we have in these zones, so how price reacted at these areas in the day prior, and then see, maybe give myself a hypothesis, a better idea of, okay, price was here yesterday, price didn't like to be at that level, price was searching for liquidity, etc. So that's what I'm looking for. And you can see that level probably would coincide with this level here, right? 692, 695. I didn't use that trading view to give me that level, right? I know it's there, but all you saw me do is go back to the left, pick it up, and go. So that 692 is seemingly rejecting at the moment, so that's good. If I could get a push below this yellow zone here, and then an acceptance, and then we look for maybe a base, then we look for a short. If we reject it and then look to push it back above the 692 level like it's trying to do right now, that could be a good key for a long. So we're going to be reactive today, both sides of the market. I don't like to have a heavy one side bias or the other, especially in days like today, because we did recover a lot of yesterday's move overnight. Well, not a lot of it, maybe half, about 1/3. If I do take a trade, I will alert it. I'll tell it here, and then I'll just write it in the chat as far as the TradeCaster chat. NASDAQ. I am going to look at the tilt indicator over here on the top step. Heavy longs on the S&Ps at this level, which might tell me if I could get another push above 695 and then flush 692 again, I might take a quick entry short to, grab a few to start my day. Just a quick one probably. I want it to pop up first though. I don't want it to, because these long wicks on this 1 minute that you're looking at give me a bit of rejection. There is still a chance of things going to the upside from there with the way that's telling me. It's kind of sweeping a bit. It's taking out some of this liquidity, right? It's 50-50 really on the tilt. So right now we're at an indecision point. Most people average entry for tops of 692, 16692. So right, my level is, it's a recurring number that keeps appearing, and it just kind of gives you a little bit more confidence in that level. So I'm gonna put that in the alerts that it's not that it's a trade, it's just a key level, key price point is 16692. And that's a zone, right? All my prices are zones. It's never just an exact science. If you have any ideas, don't hate to put it in the chat, because I like to look through ideas also and kind of break it down and see why I would do it or why I wouldn't do it, or maybe I'll take a trade off of it. We'll see. So like I said, it's 692, but it's 692 to 695, right? From here, we're right at today's point of control. That's where it is, and the point of control is at 69150. So looking for, the only way I want to take this short right away is if it were to pop up, hold above the 95, but give me like a liquidity grab, maybe even above this candle here, right? Because we got a strong selling point there. If you can wick off, get above 700, and then come back down and below the 692, to me that tells me that we rejected that higher price level, doesn't want to be there. We're trying to get some stops from that 700, and then we're going to rotate back to the downside, possibly clear out the overnight low, which we pretty much opened on, but we didn't quite. So we didn't open on it, right? We came down here at 745 and we opened slightly higher, so we could push back down and rotate down. Settlement is, I gotta find where settlement's at. I never got it today. That's my fault. NASDAQ settlement is 803.75, so it's way up here. So pretty much at yesterday's high. Economic data for today is Tuesday. Nothing was really that important. Balance of trade came in, I believe, already at 8:30. Negative 63.2. And the consensus was negative 65 billion. So there's not a real big market mover, but it does play. For this, so we're starting to get that to play out, right? We're rotating back to the upside. We're gonna get above 700. It's dancing, right? We're dancing. If I can get a liquidity sweep above 703, or even right now, that's pretty good. Because even at that, if I risked to there, I could get it. I'm gonna set a short stop below 92. Below 89. Oh, I'm filled. Okay. I'm going to put my stop above there, and we're going to let it push a little bit down. So I would like to get back down to my zone, but it would be cool to get through that zone there, get my first little bit of payday for the day, and then build my little buffer. So when I'm in, I'm trying to just catch a piece of this sell-off, right? Exactly how I said played out, right? I wanted to sweep above 700, then flush back down below 92. Now I need acceptance, and for it to hold below 92, if I could hold below 92, we got a decent move here to the downside. See that wick off right at my level there, though, so that's another negative to my trade. I just got to be patient with it, let it try and play out. If I could flush the bottom of the yellow zone, I'm looking to target 57s. I do move the break even kind of quick on my first trade of the day, though. I probably shouldn't. That's a bad habit. But when it moves like this and it gets into a zone like that, I see the acceptance, right? I'm looking for that move to flush and continue down, right? You can see the thought process behind what I was doing here. I talked it out before it happened, and now we're just kind of letting it do its thing. Okay, we flushed the bottom of the zone, right? And my thought process before was I wanted to go short. If it flushed the zone, retested it, and came back down. That could be a good add point, but for me right now, I don't plan on adding because this is that overnight low, and if we do flush it, there's a chance that it might rotate back to the upside. So adding to this trade for me is not necessary. You know, I've trailed my stop to 150 bucks. There's a chance it stops me out. Realistically, maybe my stop should be up at 82 or break even. But I'm going to secure some sort of profits on this trade. I trail. That's just my thing. Especially on the 1 minute. This could take off and go right back to the upside from here with that kind of candle. That's the liquidity grab. and then shoot to the upside kind of deal. Or it could roll over and we could just get a continued trend to the downside for the rest of the day, and that would be beautiful. For me, if we could hold below that opening range, yellow zone, that'd be money. But we're dancing with my stop right there. Okay, if we do break below again my yellow zone, we should get the flush here. Ideally, this is how I like to finish my day, right? I look for one good trade. If I could catch a good chunk of it, I'm going to be very patient the rest of the day as far as if this does flush, right? I'm working hard on being patient with these trades. This is going to wick out and run, I have a feeling, but I'm not moving the stop until it flushes the bottom again, right? So we got to break down, and the closer we get to 57, then I'll trail it to the bottom of the yellow zone just to secure my profits on that. NASDAQ moves so quick, so whippy, you got to kind of be ready to take your profits and go. And there we go, we're out for 150. So I'll take 150 on a first trade of the day. Make sure you get rid of those orders. And look, I mean, right now you're probably going to get that break to the downside. So one quick 150. You don't have to make a ton of money every day, and every trade isn't going to be a home run, right? I mean, I did trail to my rules as far as above a key zone for myself, but the way that flush came down and then immediately popped back up, there is a higher probability that it's going to pop, stop me out at my break even, and then come back down and move again anyway. So, you know, do I get ticked out a lot of times? Yes, just like I did. I got ticked out, and then what? I'm doubled up on my trade. But if you have a little bit more patience than I do and a little more risk tolerance, then you can secure more moves. You know, if you're willing to risk a little bit more on your trade as well, and then let your trade breathe and play out the rest of the day. If you're a longer term holder, then that's good. For me, I'm not that long term. I kind of want my move to happen, and I want it to happen pretty fast. Otherwise, like I said, the NASDAQ gets a little emotional. You got to learn what it likes and what it doesn't like, right? So hopefully you made a little bit of money on that idea. If you did, hit a like. Well done, Ray. Well done. So there's that liquidity sweep, and now, so right, the idea of a long coming in here is probably higher than the short actually playing out and breaking down. My thought on this is, realistically, if you took your initial risk of this trade here, you know, if I let it really play out to there, that's a $345 risk to basically 450. If I would have just took the 1-to-1 basically, or I just left it out here and tried to get that follow through. After I do make my trades, I like to think them through, see what I did, what I could have done better as far as trailing. And these are the things you kind of have to tell yourself every time you make a trade, especially something like this. It's really easy to FOMO back in, right? And I'm not going to necessarily FOMO, but like I said, my original plan was breakdown, come back up into this yellow zone, and then roll back over. So if we do get that flush of that 657 overnight low, and then back into a retest of that 71 and get something like a liquidity grab, then I may look to go short again. The 30-minute candle is looking pretty wicky, I would guess I would call it. I've got to find a better word for it, but really got a high tail on that. Went right up to 720, and now we're closing this well, we're not going to close it. We still got 10 minutes left in this candle, but there's a chance that this candle went green to red. And the 30-minute candle will tell you a little bit more of the longer-term picture of what a bigger player is going to be doing. For us, for me, not us, I don't know what you guys are doing, but for me, I'm a shorter-term trader, right? I'm trading a smaller account. I don't have overnight swings. I'm not looking to catch huge moves. I would love to. It'd be fantastic, but I don't have the the mental the mental capital to just keep letting it run. I kind of know myself a little bit. This is setting up to be, Delta is flat, right? The initial sell-off came, but then it just flattened out. We got here, we wicked the bottom. You didn't get a good push down with the Delta, right? So that's telling me that there's not a lot of new sellers coming to push in. Buyers are trying to hold this up here. We don't have like yesterday, if you remember, we'll go back to yesterday. These Delta candles that you see here, right, on the pushes through these key levels, bro, we got this big push, we got a big Delta, right? New buyers coming, hitting the bid, buyers are coming into control. You got that big candle, you got a big Delta push, you're basing out. Currently, we're here, and we didn't get that. We are obviously the volume from the first candle down to the last, but you're not getting that same Delta push, right? Right now we might get it, but I still don't see it. I don't see that wanting to break down. So all these wicks are telling me, hey, Delta's staying flat. We're not getting any sort of new buyers, new sellers, but the buyers are holding the sellers back at the moment. And we're getting close to getting back to positive Delta, which tells me that there's possibly a chance that we could roll and then push. You know, you give a liquidity flush like one of these, maybe flush the bottom of the overnight because it is the NASDAQ, and then push up. The S&Ps on the 30 are negative, so we're pushing down in the S&P. We need to watch this because it is leading, it looks like, to the downside, but we're still sitting at that 772 level. NASDAQ 30-minute in comparison, you still have a green candle here. It was pushing back down, but that Delta is telling me something a little bit different where it might want to reject here and then clean up and see what happens at VWAP. So I'm glad I got out of that trade. I think in hindsight, looking back at it, I really should have got in below 92. I mean, I did get below 92, but my entry was a little bit lower than I would have liked because I just placed it in and then I tried to adjust it, but price moved a little faster than I wanted to. But you got my entry criteria right here, right? When we were pushing down, we were getting these wicks. What I said what wanted to happen was push above this previous candle here, which is also a key level of 700. We ticked it to the exact tick, wicked up, came back down, and then closed right at 95, which was that key level from yesterday, and we flushed. 92 was my line in the sand, right? If realistically, once I got this candle, could I have marketed in? Yes. I like to stop in because I want price to just follow through and move. If I get a little slippage, I get a little slippage. I'm not going to get that much with 1 or 2 or 5 contracts if I do get up that high. You might get a little bit of slippage with 5, but it's not crazy. And if the move is going to be pushing that hard in your direction, then you're going to take a piece and you're going to get out. So now I'm starting to see this Delta push a bit. It doesn't seem like a huge candle, but it is starting to build. Okay, 312, negative 312. Okay, now we're pushing back up, right? We're at a decision point. This is range, chop, chop, chop. This, if this would have followed through, this would have been nice. All right, if we got that flush of that 57. Still could see it, but right now we're just flat, we're sideways. There's nothing that's telling me get in. I don't see anything that would tell you to get in, except for maybe if this is a long zone for you. I mean, if you're risking below the 57s to go back up to the upside, maybe, but with yesterday's move, we are definitely not sold on that being the idea for the rest of the week. That buying pressure, I think that was just kind of cleaning up some of the shorts to get some better pricing above. So I lately am a perma bear, so I tend to short a lot, but you will see me go long. saw that you had, looking back on the chart, the chat. Glad you guys caught some moves last night. That's awesome. Sorry I wasn't in here yesterday as long as I would like to have been, because I do have a day job, so you gotta learn to trade around your day job. Policing Pips, I guess you could probably guess what I do on the side. We got a meeting early, so, but today I'll be on probably at least till 11. After I catch that first little move, I'm trying to be a little more patient. I want to make sure that I secure my profits and I don't give it any back. I'm looking for A plus, A setups. You know, it doesn't have to be a perfect setup. This wasn't a perfect setup, but the idea of confluences and it being one of my game plans, I will execute on that trade. I'll run it back again, right? We got a push of the opening range. We pushed above. We are below VWAP, so a lot of times, you know, that overnight inventory, that VWAP usually holds true. Short below, buy above. It's a good adage because it's just volume average weighted price. That's all it is. So it's, if price is below it, more volume, more sellers are involved. Once it does break above and then start to push, then you can look to go long. But I mean, you can also look to go long below here at the bottom of the zone. I use it as a confluence, right? I do long lows of other levels, and then I take it back to the VWAP because I do expect the VWAP to act as a little bit of resistance, right? So for this trade, realistically, I got that lower high. I got the wick that I wanted above the level that I wanted, and then I got a flush of the key price that I like, right? 692, where we're at right now again, 92, that line in the sand. If you get a good break here, delta's pushing up, you got all this liquidity grabbing. I wouldn't be surprised if we rotate back to the value area high, at least to 720, if we do break out. Then you got to see what happens from there. See what VWAP does, see if it holds, see if you can maybe catch a rotation all the way back to the top of the overnight session, which was that 800 level. 692, 695. It's hard to enter anything at this point for me because it's just going right back to the level that it wants to be at. So it's efficient right now. The market's being efficient. It seems inefficient, but price likes to be traded here. People want to buy, people want to sell at 692. So keep that in mind. And then once it gets out of this area and it goes to whichever direction it wants to go to, it's going to find another level that people like to buy and sell at, right? Then it's going to balance out, and then it's going to search for the next price. And that's how markets work, right? It's looking for the best price. Looking for the tilt. Unfortunately, I don't have my Top Step X anymore because I blew that account. Below accounts, that's how it happens. They're in beta still, so if you lose that account, you don't get it anymore. You gotta wait. Currently, the tilt average price is 688, and people are 54% long. So that tells me that price should continue to the upside for a bit because the longs are in the money and the shorts are kind of chasing a bit. 58% long. Once that low number starts to get up to the 70s, for me, that's a good level where that possible rotation back to the other side. Sorry. Let's see how Ray's doing. Money, money, money. VWAP is here now. Alrighty. So you can see why this first idea I was able to flip, right? My thought process is on flipping. I'm not flipping long, short, willy-nilly just because, right? My idea was if I fail this level, I want to get a flush of this. We got that flush, but it didn't hold. So what that tells me is, okay, I'm moving my stop here. I'm going to secure some of my profits. It moved quick. If I just was going to target here and look for that to be the end of my run, then maybe I would have trailed really a lot quicker if I was just trying to catch a little tiny bit. But I was looking to get it to flush the overnight low, and that was kind of showing me that it was gonna, and it rejected. But if you use the confluences here, right, that's how you're able to flip to get some of this long, right? You're seeing this short. Your idea failed at this point, but it didn't because you're looking at rejection in the zone from where it was clustered yesterday, right? This was a resistance point turned. It was it was a resistance turned into support, right? So you take that short, wick out, right? You're stopped. There's no need to jump back in FOMO, try to catch it because you know, all right, wick. We are grabbing liquidity down here. We're not getting those strong delta candles where more sellers are piling into this short. That's not happening here, right? So you're getting higher, basing higher. A lot of times you see this at a key zone, delta is increasing, more buyers are coming in, you're at the bottom of the opening range. At this point, if you didn't break down and hold below, you could rotate back to at least that, like I said, that 720 level, because that's the high end of the value area zone currently, right? So you want to rotate through the value area. Price wants to find where it's valuable. We're sitting at VWAP. Like I said, if I was going to take a long down here, which I was thinking of, or if anybody was thinking of, you take it to the VWAP, you take your profits at VWAP, and then see what happens. If you're a longer term hold, you see if it breaks out, and then use this VWAP as support. If we do that, right, that would be my idea for a long, if it does happen. It has to get above 720 and hold. And then maybe look for one of those momentum breakouts again. But until then, I can't justify a long. And like I said, I don't use VWAP so much in entry criteria. We are rejecting it, so that's nice. If I look to short the same level again, that's 692. The only issue is now we have candles like this that were grabbing liquidity below the zone to push it higher. So that first breakdown is not going to be my entry, because if it breaks down, it's going to grab liquidity and pop to the upside. If I get another touch of it, I may consider entry, but it has to have some confluence with my delta. It has to have some confluence with even tilt, right? But you can see it used 95 as support here. It's still trying to find where it wants to go. I can't use VWAP as an entry for me because I don't believe that that's some people are trying to grab. This is a zone, right? So it could, be up to that 720, down to this 695. It's going to maybe base around that zone. So this is how you're going to be successful with your trades and have good plans, because if you don't, you're just going to keep entering and scalping yourself out. Don't just flip-flop. Flip-flop, if you're going to flip for a reason. Have an idea, have a game plan, right? If I would have thought right now, okay, let's try and enter now for a short, I would probably get stopped. Only because I believe that if it does push here, I do like that 692 short. I think it could. We are getting a delta confluence. However, I do believe we need another play like this where it kind of pushes back up, because that's what price likes to do. It likes to come in, get people involved at a key level, and then stop them out at the obvious stop, and then kind of continue. And it's just, if you don't take the trade and it runs your way, that happens. You're not missing anything. There's another opportunity eventually that's going to come. So, I'm not looking to jump in and get stopped. Just because I want to enter a trade. My idea with this and my job as far as with Tradecaster and YouTube is trying to get people to understand how to think through trades. I might not be exciting. I might not be rah-rah. If I hit a home run trade, yeah, I might get pretty pumped. But that's not going to happen every day. That's not going to happen every week. It's really trying to get you to think about how you think about trades and then make decisions on your own that are more educated so that you could at least last until tomorrow, build your account, and then grow from there, right? So here's the exact reason why I didn't enter that trade. If I would have entered at 92 or below 92, you get a little bit in your favor. You think, all right, great, this trade's going to move. It pushed down, it grabbed some stops, and now it's pushing back up to above, right? If I'm at 92 and I only want to risk, $200, I'm above this candle that was the strong breakdown. That's an obvious stop point. There's a high volume node there. You're probably going to get stopped. It probably will wick even VWAP just to get some stops out. Now, if it wicks VWAP, and then we roll over again, that would convince me a bit more to enter below 692. This even right now is a little bit better of an idea because of now we're getting a delta push back to the downside, right? So people are starting to get a little short. More convicted sellers are coming in because we're above that level. If you're above a level, then you're breaking back down below it. It's a battleground, right? 92, 95, VWAP, stop a few people out, grab some liquidity, and then flush. Or if we fly through 720, now we're above that zone. Now we're looking to get long because that's where price wants to go. Think through your trades. If I could tell anybody, think through your trades. Make sure you think through your trades. Have a plan and trade. Do not flip. Just there we are, right? There's the stop at. This is my thoughts on that short, but also it could give you a long entry criteria, right? If you get a sweep of a level and then a break back above to catch some stops, we're in the middle of a range, right? So do you look to grab this long and then hold it? Maybe not, because you're going to probably get to 720, like I said, and then you're going to reject 720 and then roll back to VWAP. Trail that shit. Get long. If my idea was I don't want to get a short here because I believe that they're going to get me short and then stop me out, right? If you're going to get me short, stop me out, why would I do that, right? So, but also, if that's what I think is going to happen, that's a good long criteria, right? You could possibly think, all right, long above 95 to 720, that's $500. And it ticked it, right? It ticked 720 and it's rolling over. Like, I don't make these levels up. They're there. They're for you to see. You can learn to make these levels yours. And now, you're able to think through things because you drew them up. You understand why you look at those levels. You understand why price is acting the way it does at that zone, right? This is a zone. Where did I draw that level from? I clicked over here. You saw me do it. It's the high of this base, and it was a breakout zone. And then you come over here to the overnight session, and that level acted 1, 2. I mean, that is a zone. So 3, 4, And then finally it broke through it. And then what happened? Once it broke through that zone, resistance, 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 resistance. And then you sell from there, right? This 720 level is important. This is where buyers tried to defend it, sellers were trying to defend it, and then sellers started to win. Buyers are trying to defend it, the sellers are still winning. Right now, the buyers are winning at the 720 level. Just because it broke this high above it, it's the NASDAQ. It could go 10 points and then wick right back down and then sell off. If it can't hold this level, especially on the 30-minute, go to the 30. If it can't hold this level on the 30, right, you see that it holds, breaks down, holds, breaks down. If this 30-minute candle now closes somewhere below here, your thought process is, all right, I'm probably going to roll. Oh, damn, I hate when I do that. You start grabbing things. If this fails, you got room to the downside to that initial 30-minute bar over here, right? 720 to 620 would be your range if this closes below on the 30, right? Because it's telling you, over the course of 30 minutes, I could not hold that level. If it holds above, you know, you can run up to 62. It's a reasonable point. These are the way you have to talk your trades out, think about it. So now we're above VWAP, now we're above 720. Should I be looking for shorts? Probably not. I would if it breaks back down and holds below 720, because then you get that full rotation. Talking through what we were talking about before, a lot of these buyers coming in, get some sellers involved, stop out those longs, get more sellers involved, stop them out, do the stop run, and then carry on with the buying from yesterday. You know, like I said, you could push up 10, 20 points in the NASDAQ and then fail. It happens all the time. So really, we're going to watch this level for some confluence. You got your delta pushing up. I will add another alert as far as levels is 16,720. Another key level. I'm going to correct the 7.5. Cool. Okay, we're holding above. It's pretty good. Sorry. Answering a friend who's watching the stream, so just trying to help everybody out a bit. So we're getting that high base here above 720. Realistically, over the next 15 minutes, you'll be able to kind of tell what this 30-minute candle wants to do. My hypothesis down here would have been a good entry for me as far as a long. I wasn't convinced because we didn't get the full sweep at the bottom, right? I thought maybe we get a push up here and then we fail. However, it didn't. So we're looking at another possible trend day to the upside, because once you leave the bottom end of the opening range behind, it tends to go. So If this breakout doesn't fail, you might get that rotation to 62. And now I'm going to start looking for longs because it seems that 30 minute is pretty strong. And then you get that 30 minute on the S&Ps. The 30 minute on the S&Ps. Remember, we were leading earlier. We were leading earlier on the S&Ps. You got those 3 wicks, and now boom! Look, this is pushing pretty good to the upside. Nasdaq, same deal. Following. Yep, we're going here. Nasdaq pushing up. We're there. If we check out my main screen, there's that push. The next short zone is, wow, 65. 62 to 60, 62 up to 75. And like I said, I don't draw these zones and copy them. I draw them on my trading view. They're in there for a reason. They stay there for a while. This is an old zone, and it reacts. What do? I drew this a few days ago, and it's confluence. The levels are there. I don't have to look at them. They just kind of keep pushing. I mean, you have to just keep adding them, adjusting them. They just tell you where they are. I don't put them, they're there. If you're able to see the levels, you're able to see what price wants to do at certain places. Attaboy, good job, Race. Love it. I'm going to get back to the main screen. Am I not on the main screen? Yeah, we are. Okay, cool. Look at that push. Look at that. Beautiful. It's very tilty to the upside though. So be careful, you don't want to enter along here, but it's nice to see that this is continuing to push to the upside. The micros are heavier long. They're 76% long if you trade micros. Their average price, I missed it. You gotta wait for it to scroll by again. You're at a lower volume area here, so this is a key point, 45. You could get some rejection here, like you are. A quick pull back to the VWAP is possible, but back to 720 is also possible as a retest. Like I said, sometimes trading is boring, and especially to watch, right? But as far as me talking you through my thought process, it kind of keeps you in tune with how your thought process should go. And if you are entering trades, like you could flip over to Deckmar, and he does equities and options and stuff. I watch him on YouTube a lot. That's how I got involved with TradeCaster. But he talks it out, right? He's talking about levels and trend lines and key lines in the sand. And realistically, that's all it is. As long as you can think through your trades and have a plan and an idea, and you can calculate your losses, if you can mitigate losses, hold your risk to where you want it to be, then as you learn the nuances of a market, you can really learn to profit, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm making huge trades here. I do. I've made really good trades in the past, but $150 a day, I'll take it every day. That's a decent day. I will definitely look to grab some more, and I'm not opposed to it. So I'm not trading. I'm just looking for something that lines up with exactly what I'm thinking, so I don't give back the money that I made. And if I do give it back, it's for a proper risk to reward, right? I'm not going to look to enter a trade just to enter in the middle of this zone, right? I'm in the middle of nowhere on my 30 minute, on my 1 minute. Yes, I'm getting rejection. Could I look to enter long? Yeah, cool. But I could fade out, and there's nothing that's telling me in the middle of a range, hovering above VWAP, to just enter. I'm getting a little bit of a divergence in my delta. That's something that could indicate a short. Obviously, like I said, the tilt was a little bit heavy long, but that doesn't mean that it's going to fail. That just means that possibly it'll pause. And right now, look, we're pausing. Eventually, when Top Step does release Top Step X to everybody, you will be able to get that. I think I think their platform is pretty good. It is a little bit buggy, but just because they're working through kinks. The tilt indicator alone for me is huge, because I like to see, not that I'm a counter trend trader or anything like that. I am, per se. I'm more of like a rotational trader, where I want to rotate off of highs or lows or key levels to the other end. But yeah, absolutely. This is a good push, But as far as, like I said, with the Top Step X, it's a good platform. The tilt indicator, if you know how to use it, it's a huge asset. Because when you can see where retail is getting long, you can understand a lot of where big banks or institutions or people with big accounts that can manipulate markets a bit, get price to move with larger orders. Where they're going opposite. This is a zero-sum game. There are winners and there are losers. Every trade you make, there's somebody on the other side making the opposite trade. That's the only way that this market works, right? So if you're in and you're winning and you traded with somebody, they're losing. So they're inherently trying to take you your money. Not that they're looking for you specifically. People think, oh, the stop hunts are happening and all that. Yes, stop hunts happen because everybody is putting their stop. It's a general consensus, right? That's where people would likely to put it. Then they're going to sweep it. They're going to grab the liquidity because they have larger orders to fill, and they need to find them in the market, and they're going to take a bigger move, right? So they're building positions over a bigger period of time, and stop hunting is a way to grab all those orders. And you can capitalize on that. If you know that retail is going to be heavy long on a breakout right now, right? If we break out above 47 and tilt gets really long, and retail says, oh, I see a bull flag pattern. Well, good. They're going to whip it up. They might even go all the way up to 62 and dump back down and stop all this out right below here, right? If you're thinking, I have a great trade, I'm risking 250, that's 50 ticks on a breakout momentum trade. Yesterday was great. We had a big momentum day, and all the breakouts paid. If you think that that's going to work every day, there's a good chance you're going to lose, because right now we're sitting at a shelf, low liquidity shelf. If this breaks out on a lower delta, telling me it's weaker hands that want to go long, you're going to get a whip, and then you're going to get a stop out. And then maybe the move will happen after that. So just watch. See if that's the thesis that plays out. Because if that's what plays out, you understand that that's kind of where they're thinking. And if you get tilt to be on your side, or where you're looking at, okay, more people are really long here, still heavier long on the micros. I don't see the full, it scrolls across the top of their stream. So I have Top Step X up in the back, Top Step TV in the background. Shout out to them. I'm going to wait till it comes by and I'll tell you. The micro S&Ps are heavy long, 75%. When they work together, sometimes, that's just the big general consensus. Yes, like yesterday it worked. If it's heavy long, it's still heavy long, and you're not seeing that big pop, right? You didn't get it yet, which you're getting that negative divergence. NASDAQ, average entry 16,731, and the longs are at 63%. So it's not super heavy, right? But they're in the money, and they're waiting, and they're waiting, and they're going to look to get a breakout to carry on or add, or somebody else is looking to add. If you get a breakout and the tilt gets higher and the delta gets lower, look out for that wick and fade out. But for me, like I'm saying, I'm being very patient because I'm in the middle of no man's land. This is a middle of a range for me. I don't have anything. I mean, obviously you have all this price congestion, but you can see how overnight it was choppy, 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 chop, chop. Look at that tight range. Even yesterday, in this area, chop, 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 chop. Yes, it consistently went up, but there was a lot of price action as opposed to some of these smoother moves, right? There was indecision, even though it doesn't seem that way. These were just healthy pullbacks to buy up, but there's still price action there. You can see it on the volume on my right, the volume profile. There's these larger nodes. There's a lot of volume in this area. Look for the point of control to flip to the top. If the value area moves and the point of control flips to the top, that's the time that a lot of sellers are coming in, and you're possibly going to get that sell off from there. But right now, we're, like I said, we ran into that wall. The tilt got high, the delta got lower. We're above VWAP. You're not necessarily looking for a short, but you are going to look to see if you do get that liquidity grab above and then a rollover. That could be a play. I know my stream says bond futures. I don't know why it doesn't just say futures. It was the only option I could choose. So I'm going to reach out to Deck, see if he could change anything with that. Anybody on YouTube, click the link in the chat and in the bio. It'll take you over to TradeCaster. It says that you gotta pay, just set up an account, add a username. I'm gonna be trading live over there starting January 22nd permanently. I will be on YouTube here and there, but the main streaming platform is gonna be TradeCaster. It's a platform for traders, by traders, and you're not gonna just get me if you're bored of me and I'm doing what I'm doing right now and sitting in the middle of a range. I'm just talking out what price action might do and not trading. And you want to flip over and check out what Deckmar is doing and in the equities or any of the other traders, there's options for you there. I mean, you do have options on YouTube, but at the same time, you're going to find only trading over there. A lot of good resources, a lot of good education. You can do a free trial. And then at the end of the free trial, you can stay free. My stream will be free. If you want to check out any of those other people, that's when you have to start paying for some subscriptions. But I will be over there. So just click the link in the bio, and then you can hop over to TradeCaster. I like it so far. It allows me a lot more resources. I will show you, since I do not have a trade going, right? We got back to that 720 level though, so that's pretty important. I don't know if I'm live or not. There we go. So here's TradeCaster. You can see I have a little information, my header. You get alerts every time I want to put a level out, or if I'm taking a trade, if I'm going to enter. Usually if it's a longer planned out trade, I'll type in, hey, I'm going to get short from this level, I'm going to get long from this level, watch these price targets. I'm going to start putting in my alerts. So I did put in my Google Doc, my weekly analysis, but I want to start putting in my daily levels, right? My overnight highs, previous day highs, point of controls, and my, not my point of control, my point of controls and settlement prices, right? So that's going to go in here every day, especially starting the 22nd. You got your chat. We can chat in here. You can get some profits, your alert. I don't know if I can. I got a $150 profit today. So on I don't know how to delete it. Maybe I can delete that. So really, I'm just kind of working through the kinks here with TradeCaster for this week and next week, trying to learn the stream software, trying to learn everything. We do have charts. You could, while I'm talking, you could type in NQ and see the NASDAQ chart. You got all your, red news. I usually switch it over to the US. Apply that. Boom, you got your economic calendar. I have Notepad, stream info, all that. So it's pretty good. And then if you go into lobbies, new tab, you can see all these other lobbies, all these other people that are live, all these other traders that are going to be on here. I know on the 22nd, a lot of more new traders are going to come on. So it's a pretty good setup here, right? I'm trading futures here. You got Zimbo also trading futures. So it's really a good opportunity to check out. It gives you a community of traders, for traders, by traders, right? So I'm gonna go back to the main screen. Since we're at the 720 level, that 30-minute candle closed. It closed above. We did get that wick, right? So let's see if it rejects, but 720 is kind of holding here. You could look to, you got the delta going, pushing down to the downside. If VWAP holds, maybe you look to go long back through 720. If VWAP fails, you're using 720 as a stop maybe, and you're rolling back down to the downside. So I'm just going to be patient. Like I said, 720, another key level for me. Hey, if you get another push up here and then you fail to make new highs and you push back down to 720 again, hey, you can roll back and get that full rollover. So I'm watching that. You get this wick. It's a smaller, little tiny double bounce here, and then I'm gonna get that flush. NASDAQ, S&Ps are acting together. People are still heavier long, so I'm gonna guess that this short's gonna play out a little bit, especially with this delta here. What's my risk? It's a little bit much for my liking at the moment, especially just playing around at this level. I do want it to push back above here again, above the value area high, and then I want the point of control to flip. If I can get that flip, that's another confluence. So we're getting back down to VWAP. I gave you a good reason to why this was going to go short here, right? We ran into that resistance. You hit the resistance, delta started to fade, tilt was heavier long, telling me that retail, smaller players, weaker hands are trying to get long at highs. We're trying to buy the high because yesterday was a good momentum day. What happened? It rolled over, right? Right back to the key level of 720. So, yes, could you have shorted it? Of course, on the breakdown. But my thought was maybe we're going to wick it, get some more longs involved, and then short it down. That didn't happen. So that to me tells me that this is not a totally convincing sell-off. It was a pause. It's a pullback. 30-minute. We're still at an indecision. So we're really kind of looking at the top of the zones. 727. The value area. If you could keep and accept the value, a lot of times if it holds and accepts value, it'll rotate back to the other side of the value area, especially if it's going to be a range day, especially if yesterday you stay in that value area zone, right? Where are we at here? I'll open up the value areas here. Value from yesterday was 812 down to 16,597. Currently, we're sitting at the top of our value for the day. I would love a short from 65s, this zone here. I just don't know if we're going to get there today. The point of control from yesterday just got ticked, I believe. If not, it's unchecked, but it looks like it got ticked. 58. The low there is 57. So yeah, we did clear out yesterday's point of control, so we do have a confluence on, possibly rebounding more. So we are getting that buyback up, right? This is right to VWAP. Like VWAP, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't know about, I don't use a lot of moving averages. I don't use a lot of indicators. VWAP gets respected on every time frame. I mean, it's just that's a key level, right? It's volume at weighted average price. Higher volumes drive the price up, and I mean, people in institutions are just buying and selling off of that number. If they need to get a size filled, they set their size on the VWAP and they just try and buy every time it gets there. And if they need to sell, they just sell off of VWAP. And that's a institutional strategy that seems just too simple to be true, but it's definitely something that's out there. And that's the flip of the point of control that I was talking about, right? There it is. So now the point of control has now moved to 730, which tells you that more price has spent more time at this level than any point in the day. A lot of times, if that happens, you get either a breakout or a rotation back to the other side of the value. So I'm looking for this to tell me something up here. And then if we hold inside of value, then you can look to take that short back down to the other side. The 30 minutes kind of strong, however, so I don't know necessarily about a short yet. Looking for that heavy tilt to the long side, then I can short it. What's Apple doing right now? Let's see what Apple's doing. If you don't know, NASDAQ is heavy tech weighted. And Apple is one of the key components of the NASDAQ, right? Super heavy weighted in the NASDAQ. So as you can see, the chart looks almost identical to what we've been trading, right? So if you're going to get a push back up on Apple, then who's leading? Is it the index, or is it the stock, right? Because you got Apple, you got Amazon also pushing up, making new highs on the day. You got what else? Tesla making big sell-off on the day. Interesting. Tesla, but they are bouncing. Amazon, Tesla, NVIDIA. Are we moving up with the chips? You know, something there, but ABL is a real key component here. So I like to look at Apple. Apple is like almost an indicator for the NASDAQ on its own. If we can see, let's see here, how much weight is Apple in NQ? Apple, Microsoft, 55% weight. 7 of the stocks hold 55% of the weight. There you go. Microsoft is 12%, Apple's 12.5%, NVIDIA, Amazon, Tesla. There's your NASDAQ. That's what's driving this, right? So if you're going in here and you need Microsoft, I gotta find my tabs. I think I got rid of it actually. No, there we go. Microsoft. Also pushing up a bit, right? So we found a bottom, found some support. Microsoft pushing up, Apple's pushing up. So the longs are giving you a good indication of why this is moving, right? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. These are the things that are driving the NASDAQ higher. NASDAQ pushing higher also drags those stocks up, so it's a double-edged sword. It's the chicken or the egg fallacy. Who knows which is first, but you will know that they do play along. So the tilt's back above 70%, and we're here at the high. I'm going to do something that I probably will regret, but I'm going to short here. I'm going to take a quick scalp short. Stops just above the high at 51. And I'm going to look to take a quick back down to 720, hopefully, but if it doesn't move quick enough, I'm out, right? Tilt got heavy. Delta didn't push hard enough. We're at a key level from before, and now I'm looking for this to fail a breakout. I know I just said all those tech stocks were strong. I'm in the middle of a range. Yes, I'm going against my rules, but we got back to another level that was created just before. So that's why I'm going quick short. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's okay. But I'm going to get out kind of quick. We're pushing up. Delta's pushing down. NASDAQ, heavy long on the tilt. So I'm going to look for this to hopefully get back down. I would love to, if I could crack this bottom here, then that should get us down to 720. Being patient with it, not moving my stop yet, not flattening out yet. Delta's pushing down a bit. Hopefully we can get that big sell off from here. That it's not quite a double top per se, but it's a level where people are definitely interested. And I'm just trying to make my quick piece of it and get out. Look for it to push below here. If I can get it down to 37s, I'm going to go break even. That point of control flip, right? We accepted below value. We want to rotate back to the other side of value. That's the idea. That's the hypothesis. I didn't quite get to my short zone. However, price is telling me something different, so I'm trying to listen to price. And I'm, for some reason, a perma-bear. So I have loved to short lately. I need this to flush here. If it flushes here, then we're in good shape. Like I said, break even below 37. Okay, we're below 37.25. I'm gonna be break even. It's a risk-free trade for me. Here we go. Let's see if we can get that flush down. Risk-free. Come on, baby. Push down. Give me that move that so I mean, realistically, you could, a lot of people thinking to take profits here, fine, but I'm looking for this one to be the move that rotates back down to 720. We'll probably get stopped out before it does, but it is what it is. Break even plus 1. Yeah, we're out. That was a quick idea in a strong move. I'm glad I got out, right? The idea didn't play out exactly how it should have. This may do it right now, where we get that wick above here again, and then we rotate down. But I'm not trying to hold on to something like that for too long, right? Because it's a counter trend move. We're trending to the upside at this point, right? We bought some liquidity at 720. We're looking for longs. I took that short as a cheap short. Really, I mean, once I got up here, the entry is below the high of the value area, right? So I got in a little bit late, cost myself $50, but there was no harm, no foul there, right? I basically just covered my commissions and got out. So now if I would have left it, I would have been stopped out. Then you maybe get that rotation down. There was confluence there. There was the idea that if it flushed below there, that it would continue. It didn't quite flush 37, like it ticked down to 36.25 and then popped right back up. That told me we're gonna get long. That's why I go into that 1 minute time frame, because I can see a little bit of behavior better than I can see it on a 5 or a 15. Yes, my levels are 30-minute levels, daily levels. You got more longs involved now. Now you're stopping them out, right? This is, like I said, could be now where we get that final move. I don't want to FOMO back into this trade, because this is something that gets me in trouble a lot. I say, okay, here's my short. And I get in and I get out. And then I say, okay, it's going to happen now. And then I get in and I get out. And then I have it try it again. And I get in and get out. There's no need to do that. If it didn't work this time, yes, I might give it another shot. Only if this was at 62, right? Maybe I'll give it a second shot. This was a middle of the range, take a cheap trade, shoot your shot at it, be quick with it, get in, get out. And, it didn't play out, but I took the shot and I mitigated my losses, and I still have my profits for the day, right? It's still up 150 on the day. I want this to be up at 62, up at 65 before I'm considering taking one or two shots at a level. I don't want to do it in the middle of a range for myself. That's just a recipe for disaster for me, because we could be just doing this: sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, all the way up, right? That's just pretty likely, because until price decides what it wants to do, then that's it. And then come 15 minutes from now, 10 o'clock hits. For some reason, 10 o'clock, that's a liquidity dump. I think it's the close of Europe. Let me see. What time is the Euro close? I don't know why I'm in gold. $12:30, 11:30, so 10:30. The UK, the London Exchange closed at 10:30, so it's the last 30 minutes of London banking capital. I am currently trading on my Top Step 100K express funded account. So I am funded with them. I'm wearing their hat. I bought it. They didn't give it to me. I like this stuff. If somebody's gonna give me an opportunity, I'm pretty loyal. I'm gonna rep you until you treat me the wrong way. It's all about loyalty in this game. So you can see what I was talking about, right? Could it have played out here? Yeah. But we're getting that consolidation before the 10 a.m. accelerated volume, right? If you see it play out yesterday, that's when I took my first trade, was 10. My only trade, my whole big $5 winner. I took that because of the way things were setting up, confluences, but markets were just too strong, and I'm glad I got out for a $5 winner. I mean, I did leave for work, had to go early. The move that I really wanted happened the next wave of selling, but you can't FOMO in and out, right? So you're gonna get this. I feel like I'm gonna say at least until 10 o'clock. I don't see a move. Maybe it'll happen a little bit before, but there's not a real reason for it at the moment. Part of my stream is to try and help people get funded. If you're interested in getting funded, or if you have a Top Step account or anything like that, they just announced on their stream that they're going to be doing a fire drill tomorrow. And what that is they send out free resets to everybody watching their stream. So if you do want to get over to Top Step TV tomorrow, you can watch me stream all day, whatever I'm doing, and I'll let you know. I'll be watching their stream and keeping tabs on the tilt, but I'll also let you know, hey, if you don't want to watch it all day, if you don't want to learn about the tilt or whatever, you don't have to listen to them. I have them muted, like I'm not listening or anything like that. I use it for the tilt, some of the information. It's good. I do enjoy their TV program. You learn a lot. But tomorrow, free reset, sometime during the day. I don't know what time. I will alert it in here if I see it. delta is flat. You're getting a little bit of a push up, but you're getting the price to push up. It's not diverging per se, right? Because yes, we're making new highs on the day. Delta has not even come close to making new highs on the day. We are sort of just in a wait and see, middle of no man's land type of level, right? You're gonna base out down here, you're basing out, but it's opposite, right? We broke down and now we're running up and we're basing, but we broke down here and now we're basing this whole time. So all this buying didn't really come in on heavy delta, heavy new buyers. The volume is still up here. We did flip that point of control. I would like to see this thing come up to that 62, just kind of grind there and keep that delta low. And if you see a manipulation candle, something that's whippy, going to the upside, that could be your indication to take it short. I'm going to take 1 minute and I will be right back. Good. Okay. Whew. Needed a quick bathroom break. We're back. All right. Let's see what we got here. 52. Like I said, we're still sitting at this zone. There's not a lot for you to do at this point. I took that one trade, that one shot at it because of the way it pushed up and the kind of confluences that I had. Don't chase and chase and chase and chase and do the same thing over and over again, because that's when you're going to get yourself in trouble. At some point, this is probably going to roll over. And if it doesn't, so be it. You know, I'm not looking for following. You need explanation for point of control. Ray, if you could type out the question on TradeCaster just so everybody could see it. I know I got you texted me, but I'll explain point of control. So for what I look at is this zone right here. This red is the volume profile, okay? Right here is called right profile. Everything on this side is where all the volume is for the day. It includes overnight and everything like that, but for the majority, obviously, most of the volume comes in from the open till now. You could set the time frames to being for today, yesterday, whole day, right? But for me, I just used the day. You got all these long bars. Every little bar is a price point, right? And then if you zoom in far enough, every price has volume on it. What happens is this bar is the price that this yellow bar is going to be your point of control. That's the location that the volume has been the highest for the whole day. So the most amount of contracts has been executed at 16,740, right? it changes as this gets higher, right? The more time price spent, you see it changing in real time, right? There you go. If you're looking for stocks, NEXI, Dex just alerted, watching for the squeeze or the crack of the trend line. It is the hottest play of the day. So if you're looking for stocks, head over there and look for that trade. But going back to the point of control, like I said, you can see the volume changing in each of these bars here. So the point of control is the spot where the price has spent most of the day. It was down here because for most of the time earlier on in the day, the most volume was done at these levels. Once that flips, it's telling you that price wants to be up here. However, that's also telling you that's where most of the contracts have been executed. So if you're at a key level, right, and you're looking, hey, how many longs, how many shorts, if your delta's diverging, your longs are coming in, and this flips, it means that more sellers, or there's a good chance that a bigger volume execution has occurred at that location. Bigger players are coming in, more volumes being spent at that location. So really the point of control doesn't like to be unchecked. So a lot of times wherever it ends for the day, like I said for yesterday when I pulled up here, right? On this chart, my point of control is this red line. We opened up above that point of control, but we were in yesterday's range, right? We spent the overnight selling off, but we were in yesterday's range. It came down right to it and hit it to the tick before it went long. So if you need some more confidence for targets or entries, you can use points of control because they are where volume spend most of their time. So price loves to go back to where price spent most of its time. So it spent most of its time there and the most contracts. So I use the volume profile. It's different than like a TPO because TPO is just time priced. That's where it spends the most time. This is the highest volume of the day, right? So if you think of it in volume, it's bigger contract sizes, it's the most amount of executions. That's where price wants to be. It doesn't want to be in between, right? Low volume, price just blows right through that. If you get to a high volume area, this point of control. Right now, point of control is up here. It wants to keep going back to it until it gets away from it. If it gets away from it, it needs to create a new point of control. And that's when it flips and moves around, right? So, but let's say today, right? If, as just for a hypothesis sake, the point of control is this yellow line, and we roll over, and we roll over, and we roll over, and we roll over, and it just keeps coming back down. That point of control likely isn't going to move because price is just continuing and trending and continuing and trending, right? It didn't spend a lot of time there. There wasn't a lot of volume. So price liked to be up here, but it's searching for a new high volume area. And so that's how you can use the point of control and daily charts to kind of help you, because if you have an old unchecked point of control, let's call it from a week ago or 2 weeks ago, price doesn't like to leave that alone, right? That's a high volume area. That's a place where it wanted to be. That's where people thought they could execute. They thought either the market was cheap or they thought it was expensive. So price likes to go to those points. And that's like a roundabout explanation of point of control. So if that helps, let me know. If not, I could go deeper into it a little bit more if you want. Quick snack. Gotta eat. Brain food. Anytime. So like I said, it's now we're 30 seconds away from that 10 o'clock number time. Watch what price does on my chart. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're not at a level. I'm not at a point where I'm going to enter, right? If I was, 10 o'clock tends to get a little whippy. Yesterday, it whipped around a pretty good amount. It's 15 seconds away from this candle closing, another 30-minute candle closing. The difference, though, actually, at the moment, the S&Ps are selling off. This candle for the S&Ps, 30-minute is red, and NASDAQ is green. So you're going to get some more volume coming in. 10 o'clock, move a little bit. Not super heavy whippy action yet, but you are getting a dance to happen. You can see it speeding up. I don't have my level 2s. I got to buy it. It does help to see size on the Dom. But you could see price start to move faster. The Dom gets a little bit more fidgety. The candle gets a little bit more movement, right? So, and if you're hypothesizing this, right, before you do it, 10 o'clock, more volume's coming in, right? This candle's getting bigger, it's getting stronger, we're getting more delta. Buyers are coming in 10 o'clock. Sometimes it just seems to be the number where things start to have a plan and then they execute. I don't know if it gets weaker hands out of the market early or if bigger players do something, or if London decides that from 10 to 10:30 they're just going to start flooding the markets. But that's where I kind of see a lot of this action happen. So that's why I do like to trade around this time. If you get some whippy action above the value area high up to 62, like I said, if you re-accept back into value, you should, in theory, rotate back down the VWAP and then maybe possibly down to value area low and overnight lows. If you get a hold above 62 and acceptance, you could possibly look to get this back to the overnight high. That was the theory in the early session, right? If we clear out the low or open on the low, price wants to clean up the overnight session. For some reason, markets get offended about whatever happens overnight. So the day they like to clean up whatever happened overnight and then pull it whatever direction that they want it to go. So right now, honestly, we're right in the middle of that area, right? Right, pretty much. We are 360 ticks from the bottom and 197. So we're a little more than halfway to the overnight high. But we are still mid-range, I would consider it. See what happens here if it flushes the high, if you get a sweep. S&Ps are slightly heavy long. Micros are, MNQ is 70% long. Now this is where I like to see. I'm not getting my delta divergence, so I'm not quite ready to short, but we are getting up to my 62 level. It is strong. S&Ps are strong. They're pushing that 47.81. We are looking to get this possible short come. Give me that NASDAQ tilt. I can't see it. Still not really quite close to the high of the delta from over here. This was our highest delta of the day, and it still wasn't really that strong. All right, we're not in that big of a range for NASDAQ. Yesterday was pretty steady buying. We got the pullback. Buyers got their price down here. Honestly, I mean, early in the day with my short and then an entry for the long. If you had your criteria set, right, for trailing, if you entered in down here, you pushed up the VWAP. That, realistically, like I said, your targets were probably VWAP. If you're a longer term, intraday swing kind of person, you could still be in if you use VWAP as a stop and you just trailed VWAP. And then as you crack the highs, then you're moving it up, right? So let's say that's your entry, and then you want to rotate all the way to the highs. You're looking to try and make $2,400 on that. That's a long trade for me. I would love to be able to hold that. I mean, but these kind of moves tend to shake you out. But talking them through really helps me. I hope that it helps you think through everything that you're doing. We're at that 62 level. You're getting a pretty, it's not super strong, but you're getting a push up in the delta. So you're not quite there yet on a divergence. I'm not looking to tick a level and then just take a short just because. I'm also not a candlestick pattern person because I mean they're there. I don't know the names of them. I just know what it looks like and how it feels. Like there's a feel to the market, there's a gut to the market, there's an emotion, and there's a flow. And for me, the flow really, you got to feel it, right? Like I can't just tick a level and sell it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Like just now, you're looking at it like, oh great, it's sold off exactly from my 62s. The levels are good, they're there. You have to react to them the way that you would react to them every time. Otherwise, let's say I took this one, that's great. It could have even worked all the way back down the VWAP. But also there's a time that, all right, now I get involved. I'm short from 62. It comes to the very high. It stops me out above 62. Then it flushes, right? I want to see something like that. Usually when it gets to a level for me, I want to see some sort of liquidity sweep or if you call it a wick off top or a wick off bottom, something where price is grabbed by a bigger player to make the move happen to the other side. So I'll get that immediate move, that immediate flush, or a big pop, and then I can trail tight and I can get what I want out of it and, take my profits and run. That's really what it comes down to. See, there you go, right? If I were to just take that short immediately, and if you're looking to get it to actually go to a target, right, 720, probably, because VWAP, by the time we get down here, VWAP will probably be at 720. It's going to stop you out, right? Like that's not time yet. Market, day trading, all that stuff, it's all about timing. I've learned that over the course of my not so long and not so prosperous trading career, right? I'm still middle of my journey, just like everybody else here, I'm sure. If you're watching, I'm just here to hope that talking things out hopefully helps me, helps you. You can learn how to just think for yourself a bit. A lot of people just will tell you levels, tell you, buy, sell, and looking for signals. That's just not going to work for you because you're never going to feel what you're looking at. You're never going to understand the dynamics of why the price is doing what it does. So when that person stops giving you signals, yeah, you might make money here and there, but also at the same time, you're not gonna last long term. And that's what you want in this game. If you want to do this for real, like I want to do it for real, like I want to be able to use this to make my family better, then you have to know what you're doing. You can't just rely on somebody else. And having a stream like this isn't relying on somebody else. It's kind of just having a community, having people to walk through what they're thinking, so that when you do go and some days you're not streaming or some days you're not around, you can also think through these steps and then get yourself an idea and a hypothesis and a reason why you're going to do things, right? So for me, going back to the trade, 762, I want that to get wicked. I want some sort of liquidity grab. And then if I'm going to short it, I'm going to short it through that back down. Let's see. I'm going to alert that level. 762. Look for liquidity sweep. And I say it in the alerts as a possible entry because for me, I have my hypothesis on why it should do X, Y, or Z at a level. You may have a long bias, right? And you might think, hey, if it gets through 762, comes back down, breaks it, and holds, then you can go long off of it. That's great. That's a good plan. And that's not wrong. So that's why I put the level. I say possible entry. I don't say that I am going short at 6.2 because that's not good for you to understand what you're going to do at that level. Because if you see something else, I don't want to talk you out of it. I want you to talk yourself through your trade and understand why you're doing it or why you're not taking it. Just because I'm taking it in one direction doesn't mean you can't take it the other direction. and vice versa, right? So we're really looking to see what happens at that level, form a hypothesis, and execute on our own idea, right? Because Ray told me before, my short idea was his long idea, and look at that long idea, worked out great. My short, I made 150 bucks on. His long, he could have also made 150 bucks on, or even more, 2,500 bucks, going up to that high. So it comes down to knowing your plan, understanding the levels. I'm just going to give you your levels. I'm going to give you my thought process on what's happening with price and with delta, and then we're going to go from there. All right. So that's hopefully how I can help you become a better trader. In theory, improve myself as well. This stream will definitely go to 11 today. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade the close. If I see an opportunity, I will possibly get back on the charts around 2. I'll check Trading View on my phone just to see where price is at, what levels we're at. If we're back at some level that I like in one of my zones, I think I can, like I said, I'm not like an expert or any sense of the word, right? We're all learning together, we're all doing this. I think I could share my Trading View. I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to figure out what the share is, and then you could get my levels also. I have a few different indicators on there, so if it does pop up, you could hide the indicators, like how I have them hidden. I am watching this price action though, so I will figure that out after we figure something out at this level. I'm going to show you the 30s. S&P 30. My screen's lagging. Okay. So S&P 30 minute, we're at that 47.81. We cracked the high, but we're kind of just playing with that level, right? We haven't made new highs. We haven't done anything. We've just stayed in this little zone. Same with the NASDAQ though, right? Our 30 minute has pushed up. We're back at this 62 level. If the S&Ps decide to break above, then, they've seemed to be pushing the market a little bit more today, right? So all of these little bits of information help me make a decision. I'm hoping that this 30-minute idea, we're running into resistance here. Even if it ticks up to 68, that's kind of an important level on these candles, 66 to 68. So even up to 70. So if you get like a whip to 70 and then you come back down and you fail 62, that's my thought on the short. So that's the kind of whip. I don't want to see this creep up and like hold and then go up to 70. I want to see some price action that really tells me, okay, here we go. Like, let's move this price, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get back to this chart. There we go. Sorry. I'm still learning my hotkeys on my charts too, on my screens. If there's anything that you want to see, type it into the chat. Any sort of, I'll do this type of analysis on S&Ps. I don't know oil or gold or anything like that, like how they act. I really try to stick with NASDAQ and the S&Ps. And if I see, I'll take some ES trades. It's not very frequently, but if I see the opportunity on the ES and it's not quite there in the NASDAQ, I will jump into it. It's a little slower because it's a little thicker of a market. It's a lot more businesses. NASDAQ's the 100, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, right? So it's just the amount of companies that are in each. And like I said earlier, if you didn't see it, it's weighted. The NASDAQ is weighted. I love all these pop-ups on every website. They're the best. Okay. This is your weights for the NASDAQ. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, and Alphabet make up 55% of the NASDAQ. Okay, so we are in my zone, my short zone here. I set up to 70, like a hard awaken to 70. It could even go up to 80 with that zone. So I'm looking for a delta divergence as well as like a heavy long tilt and then just a fail fail of that 62. So, but like I said, this is kind of doing what I didn't want it to do. It didn't sweep this level. It is grinding. Like we're just getting like a slow grind, and I don't like trading grinding markets to the upside. I have a hard time going long, but I also don't like to short markets that like to grind, because they're just, every time they sell, they buy, right? You see it. Sell, buy, sell, buy. Yesterday was buy, 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 buy. Any little bit, it's buy. It seems like the buy programs are on. So it's 75% long right now in the tilt. So I'm looking, come on, give me like a little pop to 70, and then a fail of 62, and we will be short. But my delta is pushing higher. I don't like that. S&Ps are also breaking their level. They're kind of all acting in confluence. There's a lot of longs in this market. I trust the delta only a specific amount. Like I said, I like to look at this 1 minute because of how I can understand the speed of the market and what it's trying to do, right? You're starting to get a little tick, right? There's some grind to it. Now it's speeding up. It's speeding up. There's some orders above 70. There you go. There's a little bit of a stronger push to the upside, but my delta is not diverging. I'm making new highs in delta. Okay, so that's not an entry. I can't. So you got everything here, right? I told you exactly what I was looking for. And old me, right? I'd say, 72, 672, 16,762 is my level. I'm going to short it as soon as it gets there. And that would get me in trouble. I would short it and then get stopped at. And I'd short it and then get stopped out. And I'd try it like 3 or 4 times and I'm out. What I said I wanted to see, this is possibly a blow off top, right? But I wanted to see this not do what it just did. This first candle, this first breakout needed to be this, but it needed to have a wick body. It can't be so strong like this. This upper line is the standard deviation. I think it's 1 standard deviation away from the VWAP. Do I have 1? Doesn't say. I'm going to call it 1 standard deviation. Yes. It's 1 standard deviation off of price. It does respect that as well, so it does like to go to that level, but also there's times I've seen it just ride that level all the way to that. So I don't really use this. I just don't really take it off because I do like to see if price is going to stay within that 1 standard deviation up or down. It's really just more confluence. It's not a big indicator that I use for any sort of reason whatsoever. I don't use it as a target. It's just there, really. It's a visual. I'm not trying to muddy up my charts too much. Like I said, VWAP, volume profile, and levels. And then my only other indicator is that I used to draw this out on my own, is that opening range, but I like that it just does it on its own, so I just leave it. Something that I don't have to worry about is very nice. So you're getting your little bit of a sell-off. Delta's just kind of congruent. So this is different than just regular delta. This is cumulative delta. This is the total amount of people buying on the bid or selling on the bid or whatever. Buying or selling, right? This is a heavier selling pressure. The amount of people currently, it's different than volume. The way I use it, I probably should delve deeper into like how they come up with the formula that gets you the delta. I just use it the way I use it. I sort of chart it as if I'm charting a chart. And then as I get divergences, that's when I start to make execution ideas. When we come up this high from a rotation from the bottom to clear out overnight highs, I'm pretty inclined to say that this target would get reached. But also at the same time, nothing has to happen. The markets can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and you have no say in it. You're a small player in a big pond. S&P is 82% long. That's a pretty strong, bullish, everybody getting involved at these levels. Just new buyers. It seems like everybody's involved. Micro NASDAQ is 73% long from 16,739. So they're well in the money on there. Micros. That's a way to use the delta as well. When you're buying, and if you see the delta, say it's really heavy long, but their average price on their entry is down here, that means they're not adding new buys. They're well in the money, right? But if you start to see that delta creep up and then price is creeping up, they're chasing their longs, or maybe they're adding to their profits. You never know, but it usually has to do with structure points. I need this. NASDAQ is 71% long, 757. 757 is where they're long from. So they're in the money. They're not getting longer. Well, 70% long, 69% long, so the shorts are kind of creeping in. I think that tilt isn't going to be super useful at this level because we are getting a little bit less on the delta. We're pushing price up. If this cracks the high and then this does not, that means that it's not new buyers. There's weaker hand buyers, not as strong volume. Possibly, I don't want to chase a short from up here. I really have been trying to be good about chasing it in the middle of zones. There is a level at 785. So 785 is a pretty key level. That's the high right here. It's closed from yesterday. Yesterday's close, 78825. That's what this number is here. I believe 80 was settlement, I said. It also likes to clear up settlement prices. 803 is settlement, actually. So we're a little off on settlement. 788 is the close, so that closes up your gap from yesterday. I know I say I don't eat on stream, but I'm hungry. Here's your divergence. I don't know if I can zoom in there a little bit. You got a new high here. It was a whippy wick off high into a low volume node and then right back down into high volume. Low volume node is this gap in the volume. High volume is these candles that stick out further. These red bars that stick out further. The ignition bar here, right? My mouse is down here now. In the delta, you got a good push up to the highs. You started to come down, obviously. Then you push this new candle to the new highs. This delta, not so much, right? This delta never made new highs. Now you're starting to get just like a little bit of a negative delta. Everything is kind of sitting at these price points. I do expect a slight retracement and or a sell-off from 85. But I am not at a price point that I know to be a high conviction price point. Before, this is exactly what happened before. We got that delta, we didn't get new highs, tilt got over 70% and we sold off. Could we get that here? We're actually now making new highs and delta is also making new highs. So the divergence is gone. So we lost that confluence. So now we're looking to push to the overnight high. Old me chases this short at 62, at 85. I looked for it here. I think this was a more educated short there. I mean, if I waited a little longer, yeah, I could have caught a little bit more, but and that was that 10 o'clock time frame. Over here was 10 o'clock, actually, I'm sorry. Right before the 10 o'clock. I made one trade. Oh, I made two trades. I'm up 150 on two trades. I call them almost both break even. If you got a 150, that's not a break even trade. That's a win. I'll take that I'll take 150 bucks every time they want to give it to me, right? I took one short here where I was expecting that 62 to fail, which it did. I really wanted my price to be, my entry to be a little bit higher. I got a little late on it, but I trailed it out. I was looking for a full follow through flush of the overnight low, which I didn't get. And then I took one more short here at this spot right there. I was looking for, I got a divergence, I got a high tilt, and then I saw that price action really wasn't playing along. I needed a flush of the bottom of this, didn't get it, so I trailed to break even and stopped out there. So that was my two trades. You can see right here on the bottom right, that is 157.22. I had $5 in there from yesterday, so 150 bucks ish. You're gonna start seeing things like this play out at this point of the day. It's not a perfect line, but it's gonna hold. And if it doesn't hold, you'll get a quick rip down or something from there. You could use these as entry criterias. I don't. I just use them as visuals. They do play out for me a lot. If I do take the short, you're risking 200 to make 300 or even below. The value area high is 752, but 762 is that key level. 85 seems to be working as resistance. I'm going to try and make sure that I'm on these streams every day. My son likes me to drop him off at school. I'm not usually back to my computer until about 8:15 Central Time. And then by the time I get everything set up, I'm trying to be on by the open at least. I'm not looking to take that first minute trade anyway. I've already looked at the charts, planned out my day the night before or whenever. Like I'm always constantly in tune with what's going on in the market, so I'm not in need of dire need of overnight prep, right? Because what am I looking for? I have a lot of levels, or pre-market prep, I should say. I'll know what news is out already. I know what the levels are because all I care about is previous day's high, previous day low, overnight high, overnight low, and points of control. And then I obviously have key levels that I use from the previous day, but those, you saw how quickly I was able to do that from yesterday, and while we were in these levels, click. Those aren't exact prices, but you can see how I thought through those prices, right? I clicked those prices over here, then we look through, oh wow, that price reacted here, it reacted here, it reacted here, it reacted there. You're getting that resistance, and it's not a perfect price, right? It dipped below, it went above. It's a zone, right? And most of the time I'm drawing zones like this. Price points that I think are key to work around, those are going to be sort of entry areas and lines in the sand, right? Like this, it worked again, right? It dipped below, popped above. Tried to come back to it, didn't get there. And 762, when did I draw this up? This has been out here for a while, right? I didn't draw that today. It came right to that price point 1, 2, 3, 4 times before it broke through. And then when it did break through, it broke through with some volume. It broke through with delta. These are things that you have to look at, but you have to know them from the past. You have to look to your left, develop a plan, and understand what's happening at those levels to understand what you want to do at those levels, right? I said, if this whips above on the first candle and then comes back down and fails 70, fails 62, I'm going to look for a short. But it didn't do that. I said if it grinds a little bit and it holds and this first few minutes is a steady buy, I don't want to short that because I didn't say, okay, I got the 62, I'm shorting it. Because if I did that, obviously you see I'm out of the money. If I didn't have a stop in, I'm down 420 bucks there, and that's not conducive to success. Because otherwise, I'm gonna try it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I risk 100 bucks. I'm out, right? I don't have any buying power left. Well, not that I don't have buying power left, but I'm gonna get out in fees, and I'm going to get out just by breaking even or losers, there's nothing that told me here, go short. But also at the same time, we're at a level where I'm not convicted on a long. Some people may have been, right? Like I told you, I put the level here. I put it in the alerts, 762, look for price action at this level for a possible entry. I told you what my criteria was for my entry. I didn't get it. If you saw that level and your idea was bull flag, base out, stop below, I'm going to take the rip, boom, you made some money. All right? That's why I say I'm not going to give you an alert as far as exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to give you an alert on what my thoughts are, what the hypothesis is, where the levels are, and then you can make your educated decision. And you don't have to fight me. You don't have to fight yourself. If you believe in what you're going to do and you have a plan and you can execute it, don't just flip-flop around, like I said, just to flip-flop around. That's not going to help. There's been times, I do it all, I was doing it all the time. I'd flip-flop, and I would be right like a couple times, and then I would just burn myself out in fees, right? If I'm taking 15, 20 trades in a day on a full NASDAQ contract, I'm already up into, $150, $200 in fees alone. So there's nothing there for me to say, hey, this is a good idea, right? The less trades you take in a day, the more educated trades you take in a day, the better off you're going to be. Yes, there's going to be days you're going to take 15 trades because you see 15 fucking A plus, boom, hit it. And you might not make full blower every trade, but you might take 150 here, $50 there, 200, 400, and then hit 1,000. Wow, then you can cover those fees, right? If you're on a winning streak and you're hitting winners and winners and winners, you could give yourself a little bit of a risk to the downside on your winners. Don't give it all back. If you're down and you're trying to grind out from losers, the more you trade, yes, you might be trying to build back. Say you're down 500 and you're risking, your normal 100, 150, $200, whatever you're risking, and you do, okay, I made a $50 trade. Yeah, but you've already took 4 or 5 losers, and that's now $50 in fees, right? So you have to kind of weigh those options on, if I do take this trade, am I going to be tight about it? Am I going to screw myself because, I'll take $50, but also at the same time, I just $50 fee myself out, right? So, because futures is, commissions, fees, and the contracts are the same price, right? All the time. So just kind of be mindful of that, where you're over trading. If you feel yourself getting on tilt, hopefully I can help you not, because doing this stream is helping me not do tilt. Even if nobody watched for the rest of forever, if I have one person watching, or I'm not, if I'm at least talking myself out on these streams and telling you what I'm doing, I'm holding myself to a higher standard. Even if you're not streaming, if you feel like, oh man, maybe I'll get on video, download OBS, film yourself, or Loom, or whatever. Film your trades, so then tomorrow or tonight, like, you can feel what you were doing. Or so let's say tonight, you made a few trades, you didn't like what you did, or you did like what you did. You can go back, you can watch your video, you can click through all this boring time where I'm talking about nothing, or where you're talking about nothing, and you could go to the trade and say, okay, what did I see here while I was in the emotion? And then now that you're out of the emotion, you're not feeling it, what do you see differently? What do you think that you could execute better on? And that's kind of what filming yourself, or like I said, you don't have to do streaming, you don't have to talk to all these people. You don't have to interact, because it is distracting sometimes, right? Like maybe I didn't get the right entry because I'm trying to type or talk. But if you're talking to yourself and you're just thinking and you're looking it up and you're recording, maybe you find something in your trades that you don't like that you do, and it helps you, right? You don't have to talk to other people. Talk to yourself. And every trader is talking about journaling. A video is a journal, right? Body camera footage. That's a good way to go back and reference stuff that you did at work. Obviously the name, PolicingPips. Body camera footage helps you remember maybe what I could have done better in this situation or that situation. Same with videotaping your trades. You can only get so much out of writing down, I entered this, I did that, I felt this. Like, you should write it down and write what you felt maybe, and and do all that. But if you're talking out to the video, you can always review it. I have a folder full of videos. So now we're kind of just doing this little dance here. I am thinking that we might get the short, but like I said, yesterday it was the same idea. It was up all day. It was just a grind. And if I don't get another trade by 11, shutting it down for the day. And like I said, I may return for 2 o'clock, like my little note up here on the top left says. I'm off most of the time, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so I'll try to come on between 1 and 3 for the close. This week, I'm doing a lot of testing. I'm also developing a company on the side that I'm going to launch through here. So hopefully you guys can be the first to hear about it. But yeah, my normal schedule will be that Monday through Friday, 8 to 11, 8:15, 8:30, depending on dropping off my son. I will put into my chat all of my watch lists and stuff like that. So if I'm not on here by 8:15, you can read through the watch list. You can read through, because with futures, if I'm trading NASDAQ, I'm trading S&Ps. I'm not looking at the whole market. I don't have to scan. I don't have to do all that stuff. This is the same. I'm trading the same thing every single day. I'm developing a relationship with my product, so I don't need to do a full hour prep, 6:30 in the morning, whatever, but you'll have it. If you want to review it, you can look through it. I will likely be on stream by 8:30, 8:15 to 8:30 every day, just depending on dropping off my son at school. And then my schedule will sometimes adjust for work, but the top left, that is going to be my schedule for the time being. Like I said, this week it's not exact for the Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I am just kind of bugging out my programs and everything. And like I said, I'm trying to develop that other company, so I'm going to be doing a little of that work up until the 22nd when we launch officially, when Deck actually gets out and launches all the new traders streaming. So look out for it. See if it's something that you're interested. You can always leave comments in the talk. I will look at it here and there. Even when I'm not streaming, I will answer questions. I noticed that some people did last night. I didn't know that there was going to be people commenting. I didn't know how this worked, so I'm cool with reading through the chat on when I'm not streaming. Just still, like I said, I'm working out the nuances with Tradecaster, checking over on YouTube, Tradecaster, bouncing back and forth. I have streamed before. I was obviously I've streamed on YouTube, but I do believe that the community that Tradecaster provides is a huge asset to me and for other traders that are watching. So that's why I'm definitely on board with all that. Really looking for this 85 level to hold. All right. Too much water, too much coffee. Give me 2 minutes. Alrighty. All right, we're starting to see that this rising wedge type thing. It's not really a wedge, I guess. I don't know what these things are called, right? Like, I'm not a pattern trader. I don't try to fog up my brain with all these things. All I know is price and volume diverge. That is a key thing in trading, right? You want things to be confluent. If you're trading momentum, you want volume to be consistent. You want price to be consistently going in a way. If you're looking for like mean reversions and stuff like that, kind of how I am, you're looking to see divergences like how it is now. Okay, I'm looking for price to be moving up, volume to kind of be dipping, but also picking up when it breaks down. I want my delta to be pushing also. You got to be at a key level. All these things have to kind of line up for me to actually want to enter and get involved. I want this tilt to push up, and that's kind of something that not everybody knows what it is. If you're not involved with Top Step or anything of that nature, I would like you to take a look at their Top Step TV. Over the top of their channel, they have a scrolling bar on their platform that they're going to release. It is their proprietary little indicator thing, but it is really helpful because when you start to see people getting really long or really short at certain levels, it usually means that something's going to happen in the opposite direction. But also you could use it for confluence for longs as well, right? So you got a good break here. You can even draw, if you have Quant Tower, you can draw your trend lines down here as well. So if you're getting a divergence or a crack in your in your trend line or whatever you're doing, like I said, I don't take entries based on just trend lines, but obviously you see it works, right? This is something that it's not the trend line that's really working, right? It's the price. Here's what price is doing, right? I'm going to try and explain it really simply. Buyers are coming in here. Buyers are coming in here. Buyers are willing to pay higher prices for this, right? They're coming down. I'm going to buy. It's coming back down. I'm going to buy again because it's dipping. I'm going to buy again. It's dipping. But at the top, the sellers are staying strong, right? Sellers selling, selling, selling. If you're going to sell at this level, you're definitely going to sell higher, and you're definitely going to sell higher, right? Price is getting better for you to sell, and it's getting worse for buyers, right? So usually if you get a run up like this and something along these lines, right, where buyers are willing to buy higher and higher and higher, but sellers are staying strong at a certain level, right? 787, 785. They're willing to sell a bit higher because they're going to make more money at the highs. The more you're buying coming up on lower and lower volume, that means less and less people are buying because prices are getting more and more expensive, right? And then once it gets to a point where I'm not buying anymore, right? I was going to buy here. It never made it higher, and the sellers are coming in harder. More sellers are coming in. Once you get to the point where they're not going to buy anymore, and that one more seller is going to push, you're going to get that volume crack down, right? Because there's not enough buyers to hold the sellers back from pushing down. They sold up here. They know they're going to buy. They know that people are willing to buy at these levels down here, right? So likely that's why price normally will return close to or within the range, right, of that level, because that's where they initially started buying, right? That they're buying here, and then the sellers know, okay, if that's where they initially started buying, well, that's where I'm going to sell, like, right? I'm going to buy it back, right? I sold, and I'm going to get out of my position here because there's somebody there willing to buy it. So I just took that profit, and what do they get? Another $250 per contract, depending how many they get, right? And now you're getting back here, same deal that happened. That's why the retests tend to work, because you're getting the same types of players involved in this kind of move. So if you think, oh, it's a wedge or it's a rising flag or break of the trend line, like, that's all nice, and it's like a simple way to say it, but at the end of the day, it's because buyers are not willing to buy higher, or they're getting to a point where they're willing to buy higher, but then they give up on it, right? And then if you flush it like it did, and then you run up, then it's just a bigger player getting involved and pushing it higher. So that's how if you think about the markets less as just prices and candlesticks and more as people buying and people selling, what their thought process is as price is doing whatever it is at certain levels, then you can have a better hypothesis on what you want to do, because then you have an idea of, okay, this is where the money wants to go, where price wants to be. Otherwise, you don't have a reason, then you don't have any reason to get in or out. Then you're just guessing and gambling. And like I said, I don't use it as a trend line. I just use it because it's visually helpful. I don't have to think about, oh, where is it at or whatever. I can mitigate my risk a bit with the entry, right? If I really wanted to short now, I'd probably, that 85 was a pretty key point. But like I said, we're getting back with this lack of a divergence. We're not at a key level for me. I mean, 85 is a key level because it's where the selling began last night around midnight. But we're holding above it. And that to me tells me it still wants to go up a little bit. There you go, there's the push up. There you go. I'm going to look to probably sell this actually. It's time. What's the tilt at? I don't know what the tilt at. Waiting. It's not really good. NASDAQ. Average entry is 16,773. And it's actually 50-50, so they're in the money. 50-50 long short. This first breakdown didn't follow through. Never really got a break back of the high to flush it. We got a high volume here, low volume node at 90. I still think the overnight high is still that target for people. I don't. It's so hard to fight the momentum the last 2 days of just the buying pressure that's been happening. If you're an overnight trader, that's cool. Like, I would love to see how you execute overnight and what your plan is. So I know that Charting Queen had a contract that ran all night. I do not normally trade overnights unless I get home from work and I'm feeling good. I'm hoping that your strategy is similar, or if not, I would love to hear about what you do, especially for an overnight trade and what you're looking at. You can always drop it in the chat and we can all talk about what we do and how we can get better and how your overnight strategy could complement my market hour strategy and whatnot. All right, so 97.25. I know it says 96 here. I have like a little, this line is a little thicker than normal, so I'd just throw it up there, and as long as it's pretty close, I don't mind it. It still wants to be one of those wick off tops, manipulation, candle sweep. That's the kind of move that I need to see in order to short. Once we get up there, if it's a little past 11, I mean, it's not, it's going to be right now. You can see how it acted overnight. and even yesterday, right after the close, boom, you flushed above it, you held below it, and then you rolled over, held below it, rolled over. We need to see what happens there now. Another line in the sand, 96, right? I'm just going to keep putting levels out there, letting you make your decisions on what you think is going to happen. Getting that money. Let's see it. Let's see the whip above. There you go. That's a pretty whippy candle right there. Flush above the high. All right, so now we got to see. Is this going to be manipulation? Is it going to be a sweep? Are we going to catch all these longs and then try and stop them out? Or are we going to keep ripping higher? I see at the moment that the delta is pushing up higher. We are getting that that move that we want. The delta is higher. The tilt is also high, though. It's at 72, 71%. At 776 is their average entry. So we are heavy long. Delta's got some new buyers, so we got to wait and see. But if we do fail that 97 level, then you could look to short that myself. I'm going to look to short it. If you're looking to go long, look for it to hold above 97, give yourself a close, and then see where it pushes from there. This is almost the same type of deal, except we didn't consolidate at this level, right? We just ran to it. This is a price where people are just drawn to. I am going to fade this 800 level, to be honest with you. I'm going to short this top, and then I'm going to leave that short there. I'm going to look to at least take it back to the top of the trend line here if it does fail. If not, I'm actually going to go a little bit lower. I want it to be 96.50, 96. 96 is my entry. If it blows through that high, through 800, I'm not even thinking about shorts right now. But if it gives you like a little head fake and then pumps back down below 97, then we're going to get in. I'll let you know if I cancel this order. We're above 8. That is a bit whippy. It's speeding up, trying to catch some orders. At a key level, 800, 700, 600, 69, 420, 666. These are the levels that price goes to. They mess around and then they dump. So let's see. Well, NVIDIA, so Deckmar is noting that NVIDIA is up over 530. People are, all these stocks are going on rocket ship rides. I'm thinking that this hold above, if this 17 seconds, 15 seconds holds above 800, then we're taking this short off. We're not even thinking about taking this short, right? That's why I don't market in. I want my trade to move in my direction and move quick and do the right thing. If you were looking for this to rip higher off of the close, off the overnight, yeah, there we go. I'm not even thinking about shorting this. This is a market that I don't want to get in front of. I don't want to lose my solid $150 day that I had right now. It's getting close to that 11 o'clock hour, and we are on a rocket ship right now. We just cleared out yesterday's high. So now there you go. You see that candle right there? Look at that. Cleared out yesterday's high and made a new high, and now we're just rejecting it. But Delta is pushing. So when you get this, now what I look for as far as the short criteria, or like I fade it and rotate, I need this to push up, and then I need some sort of secondary push, a retest, or maybe even a try and sweep of that high, and then it looks to rotate down. Realistically, do I think it's going to come today on any of these levels? I don't. You got on the NASDAQ 30-minute candle here, you got the break of the high. You can see it, yesterday's high. We're sitting at it. We're breaking above it. And then on the S&P, yesterday's high, we did not get near it, right? That's the high right there. This is the yesterday's high. This is where we're at now. So the S&P is it's a thicker market, not as heavily weighted with all the tech stocks. This is where you're seeing it, right? And like you see, if you look in the chat, Deck is posting. He's got the NVIDIA. You can see 550 possible. Look at that chart. That NVIDIA chart is just taking off. And then obviously the NASDAQ chart follows along. We showed the weighting earlier today. I'll show it again. Here's the weightings. Oop, that's not it. Do this one. Right? NVIDIA, boom, 7% of the NASDAQ. Apple and Microsoft. Where are we at right now? We are at the NASDAQ. Look at that, pushing up through those highs, clearing out that. Next stop is 860 for my levels, right? If we go to Apple, look at that, pushing up, not quite at the highs though, so it's got room to run. You got MSFT, Microsoft broke those highs and now taking off. And then, like Dex showed, NVDA, NVIDIA, just completely on rocket ship mode, right? I don't know if there's any news or anything. We got this. NVIDIA and 3 other chip stocks are the best play AI, analyst says on Barron.com. I don't think that's driving it. I think it's just, they're just leading their space, and it's just a good buy. I mean, people still find value in it, so that's why they're buying it. And back to the NQ. Yeah. After yesterday's big move, that pullback just right to the top of my purple zone below that swing, and then once you got above it, we haven't looked back, right? At 720, this is the problem for me of late, is that not that I'm married to my bearish outlook, but I still don't trust this market to continue to push up. Obviously, I've been, not that I've been wrong, because I haven't been taking the trades, but I haven't got the entry criteria that I need to fade and rotate back down, right? Realistically, the best trade I had was this first one that I took today. I probably could have taken it off at the bottom of the value of the opening range, but I trailed based on a hypothesis. I took a piece of the move, and I was looking for a little bit bigger move, and that's fine. The next best one that I could have took was the divergence paired with the tilt and the rotation back down to my key level at 720. That one, and then if you could have went long here, this would have definitely been a nice long 762, but I always tend to shy away from going long at highs.
And then I'm shy away from
trying to echo myself. So 3 minutes to 11. If you have any questions, throw it in here. If you have any comments, concerns, anything that can make the stream better, where I can kind of provide some value, I really do this. Like I said, it helps me, stay out of bad trades, right? Look, okay, trend line break, great, and fail. That I'm really happy with how I analyze this and what I explained to you and to why. But once this fails, this actually is pretty likely to happen. Not 100% of the time, but once you get this failure and you're so close to that overnight high, you're going to get at least to the overnight high, and then if you trail from there, literally around the minute, you could trail candle by candle and still have not been out of this trade yet. You'd still be in on a breakout, sitting up over $400, $500 on your trade, right? And that's just one contract on a simple just breakout momentum. It seems like the theme of this week is buy. There's something going on. They have their buy orders in. Volume's coming back. Big players came in. What I think happened was last week, I'm going to go over to my thing here. I'm going to make it big. Oh, actually not going to make it big because you can't see the whole screen. Yeah, those longs are strong. I just had a hard time buying. But realistically, what you got from last week, right, all up until Christmas time and New Year's, you're getting buying. The first week of the year, my hypothesis was that larger players are going to come back into the market with some volume and some size. They need to position themselves for the year ahead. Are they going to buy at these highs? I said absolutely not. So all of last week, what did we get? We got all of this selling. We pushed back down below. There you go, buying ES momentum. Hopefully you can catch a little bit, make some money on that one. I like the longs. Just pushing back down. So really here we got the sweep of the lows from 2021, the highs of 2021, that whole zone. Once you swept that bottom, that's, I mean, 2021 highs, that's where big players are willing to buy. And you got some volume picking up this week. Realistically, from yesterday's morning all the way till now, there's no short idea involved. It's pretty much buy. Once you hit the top of the zone, took off again. So we're going to look to see if we do want to get back to that previous all-time high this week and then see what happens from there. Although looking back, I think this next level is going to be kind of a key zone as well. You just look and form a hypothesis and then do what you want to do, right? It's good to just think out your trades. There you go. Yeah. Once the VWAP broke, like I said earlier this morning, we were holding below. It's short below, long above. Once you break above it and you hold it, look at it. I mean, it to a tick. It came down, and now it's just been running up, right? So, yes, as far as shorts are concerned and fading highs and rotating, you could take, at some point, expect VWAP to get touched again. Do I think today? Maybe not. But like I said, you could use that as a sentiment. Some people buy off VWAP. I don't. Some people sell off VWAP. I don't use it as that. I'll use it as a confluence for saying this. All right, now we're pullback. I'll use it as a target from this pullback. I would have liked to have grabbed that as the target on this trade. That's what this trade I wanted to do, but it didn't play out. And then now moving forward, this is just a strong market. There's not really a lot of convicted sellers involved yet. But this confluence here, we got the delta is pushing down also. So let's see what happens here. Like I was saying, I need that big push and then another, not quite a double top. It doesn't have to be an exact double top or anything like that, but something that shows me that price tries again and then fails again. Because a single touch, a lot of times, isn't going to do it. It's not where you're going to get the convicted move. Like I said earlier, in the TradeCaster, I have my hours on the top left. This week, I may not stick to them exactly because this is like a debugging week, trying to figure out some of the nuances. If you do like the stream, like the hours, want to see me come on more or less, always put your comments in. I will do my best to try and accommodate people. I do work. You can guess my job if you would like. It's probably obvious, but doing this, I would love to just do it every morning. Like I said, try and get on here, buy market open. I have to drop my son off. It says 8 a.m. Central Time. I'll put my pre-market stuff in here. I will do all my levels. I'll put the levels in the alerts, where I could do that from my phone. I can do that anywhere. So that'll be fine before I go off to school, because you get your levels like I said, I only do overnight high, overnight low, previous day high, previous day low, points of control, settlement, and then the levels that are just on my screen already, I already have them there. I don't have to redraw them. I think a good practice for anybody who's looking to start getting into that, open up a trading view, set your levels, and then adjust them as you need them to go, and then just constantly adjust them. A lot of times, after every month or two, I'll go back, wipe them all out, and then redraw them just to get a fresh view in my head of, all right, what's the sentiment now? What are these levels reacting to now? And it kind of just helps, So if you do like anything, let me know. I didn't know that the chat was still running yesterday. I apologize if I didn't answer you. Like I said, next week is debugging weeks. I'm going to try and be on by 8:30. I'm definitely going to be on by open. If I'm going to have a meeting or work or anything like that, I will let you know. It's usually 8 to 11. I'll usually not try to trade between 11 and 1. Normally, today, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I try to be on from 1 or 2 o'clock Central Time till 3 at the close. That also just depends on work schedules, and it depends on if I did quite well in the morning or quite poorly in the morning, I tend to not come on and chase it. But if you do want to see some special, if it's a news event or anything like that on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, Fed announcement, I will be on, and I will make sure to kind of talk everybody through what my thought processes are, what the plan of attack is, where my levels are, what you could do at each level. I'm going to try and do some, like, not quite lessons, but like I did today, I explained to Ray and to everybody points of control and my volume profile. If you have questions directly on anything else, just let me know, because I will just explain it to the best of my knowledge, and then hopefully by me talking it out and explaining it to you, then I'll get a better understanding of even what I'm trying to use. Like right now, I know it's past 11, and I'm trying to just kind of keep everybody up to date on information of what I got going on, but also we do have a divergence going on currently with the delta and the price, right? We're attempting to push up to new highs, and delta is not gaining new buyers, right? It's not a convicted delta. We're also looking at the tilt. I don't have anything there. I think it says 75%. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate the good words. I am going to hopefully be able to provide value a little bit every day. I appreciate everybody watching. You know, if you do like it, I don't know how exactly to subscribe on Tradecaster yet. I'm guessing it's pretty easy because I do see some new subscribers and I really appreciate it. If you go to YouTube, my YouTube, you can subscribe over there. Same deal, PolicingPips. I will be live on both for a little bit, and then I'm going to try to switch 100% over to Tradecaster and provide a couple days here and there on YouTube for everybody to gain some new followers. But just share it with your friends, teach everybody about Tradecaster if you can, and then from there we'll make this a nice little community. Like I said, I'm working on a cool side business that it's definitely involved with trading. We're going to get this money, absolutely. $150 a day, I'll take it every time. If the market's going to give me $150, I'll take it. If it's going to give me $1,000, I'll take it. I've had $5,000 days. I've had good days. I've had shitty days. I lose money. Everybody does. That's how trading works. I'm not going to promise you that we're going to win every day, but I'm going to promise you that we're going to talk through our trades. We're going to work through levels. We're going to understand what price is doing so that if we do lose, it's an educated loss, and it's not because we're just taking shots and gambling. So I kind of want to wait 2 more minutes just because I want to see if this sets up for me, because I like it. Oh, here you go. I'll take it. Let's go. 3K. Oh, you gave some back. We always could give some back. Giving some back is okay, as long as you don't give it all back. And if you have a set, like, you know, if you're having a good day and you're up 3 and you don't want to lose a ton of it, what's your normal risk? Let's say your normal risk is $200, $300. Take 2 losses and then call it, right? If you don't give back more than half, I'd say, especially when you're up 3. If you're up $3,000 or 300, or if that's a good day for you, set yourself a trailing drawdown even on your winning days, because then that kind of builds your confidence a bit. You're like, okay, yes, I made 3, I gave some back, but at least I'm still up on the day, and I can take that momentum into tomorrow. And, you know, as long as your account grows every day, you're doing good. Sometimes, you know, we all make stupid mistakes, giving some back. Just don't FOMO and say, oh, I made 3, I lost 1,000, I need to make that 1,000 back, because as soon as you try to make that 1,000 back, you're losing the rest, right? You're going to lose the 2. So if that's not the case, then you're all right. Otherwise, I think you're going to be just fine. Let's see what happens here. This divergence is pretty nice, actually, right? I'm going to delete this one. Absolutely. Damn right, Dick. Hopefully she didn't give it all back. But like I said, it happens. If you do, just learn from it and do what Deck said. End of the day, just walk away with a set drawdown from your max profit. I do want to see this kind of wick off top a little bit. If it does that, then I might go try and fade it a little bit. But we're starting to get that delta a little bit. Oh, still up 2,200. Walk away. I walk away now. Hell yeah. That's a good day. I love it. I'm at 150 and I'm cool with it at the moment. Just because I'm trying to take this first week streaming a little slow. I'm not trying to. Also, I mean, realistically, that's exactly what the market gave me today for my strategy. If I gave back all of my 150 because I'm risking, that's my risk. 150, 200. That just happens, right? But if you're risking your full three, going down to two, going down to one, going down to zero, going to negative, that's when you don't want to do it. No, Dex platform. I totally believe in this TradeCaster platform. Not even just for like, as me as a streamer, but as for like a community as a whole. This community is great. Like I said earlier, if I'm boring today and I only took one or two trades, and I'm explaining things, and you're just like, I need some action, and you want to go over to the equity side and go to the deck. You go to deck and you see some shirts getting ripped off and stuff. And then you can come back later and catch some futures trades. There's a lobby, where all the trading is. You don't have to go to YouTube. You don't have to search around. And everybody here seems really willing to help. So I think this community has nothing but upside to it. And I think it's fantastic. Really, it is. And I'm appreciative of the deck, but also I think everybody else is too. So it's really cool. And hopefully we can grow, my stream. And my stream can help grow other people's streams, and that's really what it's all about. It's about building community. Because trading is lonely. You're doing it behind a computer screen by yourself. And when you're losing money, it's even more lonely. Yeah, I've been on and off with the TradeCaster since he started it. When I was watching on YouTube and stuff, I'd try to join and all that. And I haven't really got fully indulged in it because I've been just trying to work on myself. But it's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. This is still setting up for me to be a nice little quick win short. Not quite at the next level for me, but at the same time we are extended and we're getting a delta divergence. I need to check this tilt out. Micros are 63% long. Do it up. All you got to do is email deck and get set up. I'm sure you know how to do it all already. Just take the chance. I think, like he said, you don't have to be profitable. You don't have to have a long track record. You could just be you and learn how to talk to people, and you can even pretend that there's nobody else there. I'm sure it'll grow and everything will be awesome. Yeah, this isn't really quite moving. Like I said, I'm getting the divergence, but I'm not quite getting the movement I want. The tilt on the top step tilt it's 50-50 right now. There's not a lot of new buying going on up here, but also at the same time, it's just sort of grinding again. And like I said earlier in the stream, I don't like to sell a grinding higher market because technically, it's what the market's supposed to do, right? A little bit of a dip, people buy it up. A little bit of a dip, people buy it up. The market is sort of rigged to go up, right? Everybody's buying. There's 401ks. There's people buying. And as long as people want to make money, they're going to put money into markets, and markets have a tendency to go up. And if it's grinding, it's going to grind. And if there's no reason for it to sell off, no profit taking and stuff like that, what can I say? I can't fight it. We do that standard deviation. Like I said, I like it as far as the standard deviation is concerned. I might push the stream today till 11:30, right? Like, so the stream is going to be fluid. I talked about getting off a little bit already. If you're up 2,200, you were up 3, you gave back 22, don't risk anymore. Just enjoy the day. You don't have to sit in front of the computer. For me, it's Central Time, so we're at 11:15. East Coast, 12:15. If you're out west, then you're earlier in the day. Your day is done. You're up $2,200. Go out and do whatever else you can do. Start another business, like I said, I'm trying to do, and I think the community is going to help grow that, and then that community can help grow this, and it's just going to work hand in hand. I'm really, really excited for what I got going on. I will definitely let everybody know, probably on the same day that I launch this the stream live on the 22nd. So I'm going to email Deck actually after this because he has some helpful tips and tricks for the stream. Actually, I was in the middle of the email now. I'm going to just watch this price action, send this email out. If I don't talk to everybody for the rest of the day, I hope you hold on to that $2,200. I hope Ray, I hope you hold on to your profits. Everybody else who's watching, I appreciate it. On YouTube, on Tradecaster. If you're on YouTube, click the Tradecaster link. It's in the description of the stream as well as in the chat. Sign up. It's free. My stream is going to be free for as long as possible. If you like what you see, like the stream. Subscribe to me here. Subscribe to me on YouTube. You could always talk everything out. Yeah, go to work, do whatever else, clear your head from the markets for today. I like to stay in tune. Like I say, I have TradingView on my phone, but I make sure that I can't trade from my phone. I know I'm so into this that I love trading. I love the markets. I love doing all this stuff. I'm pretty passionate about it. But if I could trade from my phone still, I would be doing it. I'd be doing it in my bed. I'd be doing it out at the beach. If I'm away from the computer, I don't have my focus. Like, I don't have my confluences, I'm not going to trade. And right now, I am getting my confluences. And I would like to catch a quick short for myself. If I can get one more push back up, and then I'll sell it. But I don't think I'm going to get the push back up. I think I missed my entry there. Yeah, I missed the entry. It's all right. It's cool. I'm just really trying to focus on the stream and getting everything together. So, yeah, like I said, I don't trade on my phone. Go out, enjoy everything else. I'll look at TradingView. I'll check levels. If I see price at a level that I want to mess with, and it's towards the end of the day, towards the close, and then my mental capital is there. If I didn't go up big or go down big in the morning, I'll come back to the computer and I'll set myself up to trade on my platform that's able to execute in the right way with the right data streams and all the right information, right? So if that's one tip I could give, unless you kill it on your phone and you can do it on the beach and you're not distracted and you're just willing to hold on to the losses and you can deal with it, trade from your phone. But I really don't recommend it. I think there's so much more to life, you can enjoy. So get out there, enjoy your day. Up $2,200 is a great day for everybody. I mean, realistically, like I watched Deck yesterday, was like $700 or whatever. Like, he works hard. $2,200 a day. Keep that in your pocket and make it grow. All right. Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm gonna get off definitely 11:30. So, like, I'm not pushing the limits, but I do like sort of what the price action is telling me right now. It's slowed down quite a bit, so then you can make a little bit better decisions. I missed my entry on this when I kind of got into that talk a little bit. I would have liked to have gotten in up there and then try and take it to at least 800, if not back down to the overnight high. But that's just me talking it out, not necessarily any sort of trade idea for anybody else. If I were trading patterns, I think you're starting to approach the idea of a head and shoulders type deal. Like I said, I don't do the pattern thing, but let the price action tell you the story of what's going on. If that's what you can at least gather from today, and if you can learn something about why I explained how price acts like this and then breaks, and then it breaks again to the upside, this is just obviously momentum buying, but why patterns form, why people call it this or that, and why it does have a likelihood of playing out. It's just a matter of how well it plays out, what your targets are going to be, and really what the mindset of the entire market is as a whole. So the patterns play out on a large scale. As you can see, I am mainly price action levels, and they're not support and resistance. I do use those terms, but they are liquidity zones, and I call them lines in the sand because really it's a battleground, and whoever wins the battle, then that's where the price is going to go. Can't help but stay on, you know. It's a really it's a great relationship to have here, and the wife took the youngest out of the house, so I have quiet in here, so it's kind of nice being on streaming a little bit longer. I just don't like to stay on much longer than 11:30 because price action for lunch hour really doesn't get very fun. It gets a little grindy. Deck bringing up Tesla. Tesla doesn't have the same type of hype it used to. EVs, it's old news. It is a really great company, but it is selling off, so it's interesting. AI is the trend. NVIDIA, AMD, and Microsoft. And because of what deck they're putting in the chat with Tesla might drag us down a little bit, but you saw the weights. I keep showing the weights. They're not one of the top 55%. Your Microsofts, your Apples, your NVIDIAs, and those people are pumping right now. Google, all the AI hype, that's what's driving this market higher. S&Ps and NASDAQ. If you feel like you can't see my screen well enough or anything like that, you gotta let me know just so I can I'd make some adjustments. Like I said, I kind of have OBS set to where I have my main screen. We have our 30-minute chart for the S&Ps. We have our 30-minute chart for the NASDAQ. And then I have my main screen, like I said. And then I can also go over to the TradeCaster screen and just show you a little bit of what's going on over here. For anybody who's on YouTube who doesn't know about TradeCaster, this is what we got going on. This is my lobby, everything in here. I can move it around, I can set it up, make it look good for you, adjust it for user friendliness. I really like how everything is here. We have our chat, I can set alerts. Everybody can talk. You know, you learn who's in, who's out, and then you just go from there. So I appreciate you watching on YouTube, subscribing, liking, doing all that, but also try and head over to TradeCaster because eventually, especially starting January 22nd, when all of this new and improved streaming content comes out on TradeCaster, we're going to start hyping it up over there, and I'll be on YouTube less and less. I still will be over there, but if you're into trading and you're into the community, head over to TradeCaster. It is going to be a party. Like I said, you can go over and watch Deck rip his shirt off, or you can come over here and listen to me moan on about price action. You can do whatever you want. Whatever your speed, you can come over here and watch it. So 5 minutes, pretty much just done for the day. I will take my $150 win for the day, focusing on what I'm looking at for price action, talking through my levels, working on the stream. I think realistically this is any green day is a good day. Like I told the charting queen, you're up $3,000 and you give back, you know, $800. Take that $2,200 and run. Ray was up 400. That's a great day. Hopefully my levels and some of what I was talking about kind of played out, and just let you have your idea of what's going on. So everything, every day, I'll be on at the open. Today, I probably won't be back on at 2 or 1, like my schedule says, but that's just because it's this week, bugging out, new weeks. So 5 more minutes, done for the day. Just going to watch this chart and then cut out. I appreciate, like I said, everybody being here. We're going to grow it slowly, steadily, get some new subscribers, get new people on Tradecaster, and hope for the best. And if you're in a trade on YouTube, milk that. Because it seems like price just wants to grind it out. I actually am not going to wait 5 more minutes, because if I watch this any longer, I'm going to get tempted. And price action is slow. We're not getting the confluences. Yes, it might fade out, but I think at this point, we learned a lot today. I'm up. I'm walking away, and we're going to see you tomorrow for the open. So make sure you stay tuned. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Later. Peace out.